Say hello to the internet. Hello, internet.
Hello, internet.
Hello.
Hey everyone, so we've reached Stonehome. We have rested for the night and discovered a series of books which might be of interest to us. Among those books is a map of the Underdark. When we wake up the next morning, we discover that the giant that has been building the stone wall nearby has begun before dawn and is moving at a remarkably fast pace. But he doesn't disturb you, doesn't call out to you, doesn't do a thing, in fact, just keeps building the wall, regardless of whether you watch him or not.
We're up here because of missing people, or what were you up here for again?
People, all the workers at the sawmill went missing, and then all the people who went to investigate why they went missing also went missing.
Gotcha.
So we're now like the third group going up there to see what's going on, and hopefully we don't also go missing.
You get teleported to Ravenloft.
That's right. Oh, man. This is the curse of Strahd.
So yeah, I guess we take off.
No worries. You grab yourself a bowl of oats and do you go around the unbuilt wall or do you go straight over it unnecessarily?
Maybe we can go around it.
Yeah.
I'd say go around it.
We're going to go around it to where he's building, or around it the other way?
Well, he seems pretty friendly so far, but being a giant, I think we should still give him a wide berth.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
It's probably wise you do, because as you appear, he raises a rock, a big 50-pound rock, and holds it the way a child might before they're going to throw it, the way a pitcher might before they're going to pitch a softball. Not a softball, but a baseball, but whatever. And so he watches each of you with this rock in his hand, steady and sure. But he never actually makes the motion to throw it, nor even really to threaten you. It's precautionary, but that's about all. It doesn't say anything. Holds the rock up.
Oh, good morning.
Goo. He greets you in his own tongue, in the giant tongue. Does anyone speak it?
Negative.
Nope.
I don't think so.
No.
He says it again, or a different word this time. Haroon. Undercommon? Anyone speak Undercommon?
Yep.
Of course you do. So he greets you in the Undercommon tongue, and probably uses a relatively well-known Drow sign language for hello, whatever that might be. Perhaps the most commonly known piece of Drow sign language. It gives you a very simple, informal greeting and watches you.
Oh, good morning there. We're just passing through. Hope you don't mind.
He looks around the wall. That is all right.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Goodbye.
How far is this wall from the sawmill?
Within visual range, probably 5 miles or so, a little under 10 miles. So you're likely to make it there before the middle of the day. All right. So you've left behind Stonehome. We didn't say if we did anything with the books.
I would have most likely just grabbed them and put them in my bag.
Okay.
Well, when you grab him, I'll mention that this is somebody else's property. They gave us the key to stay here. I don't know if it's...
are they? Okay. Never mind.
I don't know if we should just steal these valuable books.
No, that death pussy though. If we don't keep the books overnight, I'll make a copy of the map of the Underdark.
Yeah, sure, you can do that. You have cartographer's tools?
No.
Then
Could
you
I-
make a pretty shitty copy. Like you can do it, but it's not very well.
Can I forge a copy of the map since I have the original?
Forging is good. Yeah, that's a great. Yeah, forge is a good skill. So go ahead and make a forgery check.
Okay.
I'm proficient in cartographer's tool too.
In that
So
case, we don't even need the check. Like you can sketch it from yeah, so that's fine. And you might even make up multiple copies, whatever. You've now got a copy without having to take this one.
helps with the star maps.
It does. All right. So we travel the final 10 miles and we reach the vicinity of the sawmill. About 10:30 a.m., something like that. Give me a moment to see what I'm doing. There it is. Okay, so from a distance of a quarter mile or so, from 1,500 feet away, you can make out the sawmill relatively clearly. The building, I always have trouble explaining this one. The building is open plan. It has no walls. It's built on stilts. It's actually a shed without walls. It has a roof. It has a floor. The floor is raised above the ground because the stilts are about 4 feet high. It's a sawmill, therefore it has massive rotating blades. The blades obviously aren't rotating right now. But one thing that you notice about it predominantly is the crows. There are hundreds. There must be 100 crows here in this murder. Perhaps maybe the largest flock of crows any of you have ever seen. And you can hear them from a quarter mile away. So enthusiastic are their calls.
That's pretty unusual. Could possibly cause the gathering of such a large number of crows.
A lot of bodies.
Yeah, possibly. In that case, we should better be on our guard.
I'm gonna stare flightless down. It's like, do you know what's going on?
But who said that?
Like, you mind translating some cause, buddy?
He looks like offended. Like,
Do you have a raven to speak the bird language, do you?
I have Orin.
Yeah, Orin? Oh, no, that
Yeah.
won't help in this case. No.
Like, he's just saying 'cause I'm a bird man. I must be able to speak to birds.
Well, it's reasonable. You know, it's a little bit
It's also racist. No.
kind of racist, highly
I'm also a
presumptuous,
growl,
but it's
so I mean,
pretty reasonable.
Is it just the birds, or is there something else like hiding like around
That's a
somewhere?
good question. Make a perception check. We're like 1,500 feet away, so we're a long way away. But yeah, okay. So you don't spot a lot more, save for the general layout, and it's like this. The side that we're coming from, the southern side, has a river. That river appears to be absolutely clogged with logs, a log jam. Theoretically, you'd chuck the logs into the river, they would float downstream, and they'd eventually reach a point where maybe you put them on a draft horse trail and drag them with chains, something like that. So there's a river on one side, and there's forest on pretty much the other three sides. And the forest has been cleared, as you might expect, for the area around a sawmill. Guess what? They've dug up the trees that are nearby. But there's lots of wood already there. It's probably hasn't been there long enough to rot. Might have been there a month, maybe. I guess it's been there at least a month. Might have been there considerably longer. But from a distance, at least, it looks like the wood is intact and it hasn't rotted. But with a 10, the only other thing that you will notice, apart from the crows, apart from the blades, apart from the fact that this is raised and has no walls, apart from the river and the forest, is a gallows. There is a gallows that is so shiny that even though it's made of wood, it gleams like metal. A beautiful reflective silver wood, probably a very expensive wood. And that gallows has someone hanging in it right now.
How long does it look like he's been there?
At 1,000 feet away, there was no way of telling.
Okay.
Why would a sawmill need a gallows?
It's a good question.
Is there anything around the sawmill and like any kind of movement besides the crows in the distance?
Not that we've noticed, no. Not that we've noticed from 1,000 feet away, though it is pretty, not heavily forested, but lightly forested on 3 sides. And there'd be more than enough room for boars or wolves or something to crouch down and remain completely out of sight.
The one thing is, though, I feel like anything out there would like scare the crows.
Yeah, fair
Unless-
call.
I doubt crows are hanging anybody.
Are there any crows like near the body?
Near the gallows, occasionally, yeah, there might be a crow that stands on it and starts pecking at his ear or something. The eye's long since gone.
Yeah, just make sure they weren't like ignoring it.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, like if it's a mummy or something. No, it looks like they're treating it the way crows might when they come across carrion.
Does it look like they're congregated around something specifically, or are they just blanketing the area?
That's an interesting question, and the answer to that is that they all seem, well, not all, but the majority of them seem to be in the rafters. Like, let's say that there's 100 crows. Obviously, don't know how many there is. Let's say that there are 100 crows. Roughly 3/4 of them, 70 or so, are up in the rafters, and only a small number of them are actually feeding or flying. Most of them are just perching, cawing at each other.
We can try sneaking up and taking a look. Is that that hill on the map? Is that close to the sawmill, or is it kind of far away, or is it not?
Yeah, no, it's more than one hill. There are several hills that go up to the border forest, so it is pretty hilly. But there wouldn't be the closest elevated position is probably about 200 feet away. A lot closer than we already are, but still pretty far.
I'd say we could probably head there and try to get a better look.
Sure.
All right, and so we around the corner up towards the hill. I'll just check the dynamic lighting. Yep, it's switched off, so that's good. Don't need the dynamic lighting here. I'll move you over to the map. We're about 200, maybe 300 feet away, and your characters will have a pretty good view of what's going on. So, the crows are not alone. There is an apex predator, or rather, there is a panther. I suppose it's not really an apex predator in D&D. It's come from kind of right down the bottom, really. Anyway, there's a panther in up on some discarded wood. You'll notice rail systems for transporting the logs more easily. The logs roll on the rails, not like a train track, but rather like rollers factories might have. The wood is dumped down here, thrown down the gangway, and dumped into the river. Where, as mentioned, the log jam has caused the river to stop flowing. These are piles of wood that were mentioned earlier, but your eyes are no doubt drawn to the grey-skinned creatures who bear wounds that have rotted. Their flesh the colour of pallid corpses, and they seem to be circling the building without actually going in. At no point do they step close enough to get anywhere near touching it. But it doesn't look like the ravens are keeping them out. They're not bombarding them or anything. They're merely mocking them, cawing them. And these grey-skinned entities are prodding around the perimeter but never actually going in.
Is that a circle in the ground, or is it just part of the map?
Yeah. Once you get you probably can't see it from this point.
Okay.
No, probably can't see it.
But we can tell that they're like not going to the center.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Do they seem like they want to get to the center but just can't?
Yeah. Like imagine a mime trying to get through an invisible wall.
Okay.
Hmm.
What side are we on? Like north or
The
southern?
southwest. Yeah, southwest.
Hmm.
Are those log piles high enough to hide behind until we get until we get close enough, if necessary?
Potentially, but it'd involve stealth checks. You'll be breaking the cover of the tree line, but yeah, potentially.
I reckon we get as close as we can and then charge them down.
Hmm.
Sounds good to me.
Do we want to try to pick apart one of these groups towards the lower left or the top side?
I think we can funnel them on the lower left. Try to like take the 3 as fast as we can, and then like be prepared and have them funnel to us. The other 4.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. Do we want to take on the 3 first or the 4?
I'd say the 3.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, I think so too.
So circle around a bit so that we're coming from the south.
So like
Mhm.
up here and then go up through these logs like this.
Yeah. And I guess try to sneak up as we can, and then strike if we can. Catch them by surprise.
Cool. If you want to put yourselves on the map somewhere down here, if that's where you're coming in, throw yourselves down on the edge, as close to the edge as you can, close to the corner as you can. And once you've done that, make a stealth roll, and we'll see if you've maintained your cover.
I've been doing all right on my stealth rolls so far. Oh no, there we go.
All right. With that, we can roll for initiative.
I'm just not doing very well with initiative recently.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Raven, Crow. What's it listed as? Swarm of ravens. All right. So, Aliun, by the time you've reached your position, the gig is up. The ghouls, undead creatures, are hissing at each other, spitting and pointing and rasping. But after the initial surprise of being stalked, they're filled with delight. It seems that the arrival of fresh meat is exactly what they were hoping for.
I'll kind of run up behind these and shoot an Eldritch Blast at middle one.
Yeah. It's straight between the eyes.
Ooh.
But a niggling hit as you strike it, and it holds up its hands to try to block it, minimizing what was an accurate strike. And when the other ghouls look over and see that their companion is not debilitated, it just fills them with more confidence. They believe that this will not be very challenging for them.
And I'll hop behind the pillars here and take cover.
Excellent. You'll have full cover, at least from certain angles. Dalavash, the gig is up. Where you've picked out where you want to stalk to, but before you can do that maneuver, the crows are cawing and the ghouls are snarling. What do you do?
Yeah. Move. And let me just check my distance here. Alright, I am going to cast little fairy fire.
So it's going to hit all three of them? No, just two of them.
That's not all three. It's a 20-foot cube.
Needs to. I don't know if that cube is the right size, but you need to hit more than 50% of a token to affect.
I think I can get 50% with 20 feet. Can I? It's just, the square is probably just drawn a little too small.
Let's have a look. Yeah, that looks like a 15-foot square rather than 20-foot one, right? Oh no, it's 20 foot. Yeah. No, you're not going to be able to get them all. In fact, this one is definitely 25 feet away from this one, 5 squares.
Okay, then we'll get the two bottom ones.
Cool. And the one that is closest is caught up and illuminated, and it doesn't panic, but it's deeply agitated by the lingering lights, which it tries to shoo away but cannot.
All right, I'll use the rest of my movement to get behind.
Brilliant. Artisan.
Let's see. I want to take up my crossbow. Oh, that's draw, not that. Oof. 70.
Nicely done. Yeah, 70, which will put you in short range. It's got a little bit of cover, thanks to
You have advantage.
being behind. Oh, yeah? Oh, you do too, because of the fairy fire.
Oh.
So that's going to hit, but you might as well have another go anyway. You never know. And there we go. That's why we do it again. Thank you for demonstrating. Okay, and unlike its companion, this ghoul is suddenly terrified, fearing, ironically, for its life. As it's a perfect shot. Where do you strike it?
I guess dead in the head.
Perfect, and your bolt lodges itself in the head. If it was a living human being, it would instantly be dead. But instead, it's kind of comical, since it's got this arrow sticking out of its brain. That ghoul freaks and makes a beeline for the trees, and just goes. Yeah, you still have movement or something?
Move over there.
Yeah, cool.
15, 20, 25. I can actually get right here. Boom.
The ghouls are are a little bit concerned and even panicked. But when they see that their reinforcements are on the way, it gives them confidence. Indeed, more than confidence, it gives them the sense that if they don't act now, then they might not get the kill. And so while reinforcements come from the top, having to go the long way around to avoid this now visible glowing circle, these two down to the south rush and position themselves so that they are crouched behind some wood, not hiding, not prone, but trying to get as much cover as they can, much like Aliun was doing. And while we assess the danger that is coming from that direction, we might be startled to see that more of these ghouls emerge from the forest on the eastern side.
Oh boy.
Well, shit.
Yeah, there's a few of them.
That's a lot of ghoul.
And they've got to go a long way round, which is at least fortunate. But that's the ones in the top north have to go, top right have to go around, whereas these ones down here can simply cut across through the sludge. It's a little bit dank for them. They have got to get into the water and maybe do a bit of either wading or swimming. 2, 3, 4, 5. Difficult terrain. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So yeah, they're slowed down by the terrain, but excited in their pursuit of their quarry.
Mhm.
Okay. The panther, who is up here on the sawmill, watches on with renewed interest. It was kind of sitting the way a house cat might, just observing. But the cord. Sorry about that. But now that the ghouls are getting involved, it's kind of much more interested in what's going on. The ravens watch on passively as well. Most of them still in the rafters, but a few of them hopping from ledge to ledge, and a few of them soaring overhead that they might get a better view. Okay, Mara. Is Mara there?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize this was my turn. Yep.
Yeah, no worries.
So they can't see over we can't see back and forth over the wood, correct?
Not really. They'll have +5 armor class because you can probably see them looking over and then ducking and looking over, looking around, like that. But it's pretty good cover.
All right, I'm gonna come over here so I have a cleaner shot at that one, and then take a shot with my short bow
Brilliant.
and miss.
And you will indeed miss. And your failure fills them with renewed confidence. They think that you missed because you're afraid, and they think that you're afraid because you're doomed.
Cool.
We might be. Where's Fireball when you need it?
Right?
Still 3 levels away.
Ah.
Alright, let's see. What do. I will. here, I think. And seeing as I don't have a ranged attack, I will move a little bit into this gap. And then hold ready in action to attack the first ghoul that enters my range.
All right. Well, it looks like they are going to come at you, or are they going to come at someone anyway? Well, unless that someone might be you.
Hopefully not. How much higher are these logs to the ground?
Yeah, they stand about 5 feet tall, but imagine them in roughly a pyramid. You've probably seen logs stacked, and if not, then you can probably understand the physics of stacking logs. And a pyramid is about the most stable structure you can build out of.
Yeah, I walked at the port. They had me scrape the dirt off the end of the logs.
There we go.
I think I'll just try to climb up to the top of it, get a good vantage point. I think I got
Make an
pretty good
acrobatics
stealth.
check.
Oh,
No worries. Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem, but if it is a problem, it's going to be a big one. Yeah, that's fine. And so you nimbly climb up onto these logs. They don't move underneath your feet. You're relatively light and hollowed boned. You've got a good vantage point, but they've got a good one on you as well. What are you going to do up here?
I was going to take a shot at this one here.
Cool. That acrobatics check doesn't take a skill, so doesn't take an action, so you're able to do that.
Okay, so I guess they can see me now then.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, they're tempted.
19.
They're dreaming of southern fried chicken. Yeah, 19's a great strike.
7 points of damage.
And it deters them a little bit, or at least it deters the ones that's injured, but the others are just glad that they weren't going first. And if there's one dead ghoul, it means more meat for the rest of them.
And I guess I'll gesture for Lady Eleanor to take 1 step back.
Fair enough.
Excellent. Aurelian, you take cover from the ghouls to the north, but out of the corner of your eye, you see them streaming across from the east. Imagine it being like an action scene. As you take cover, and there's 6 of them. Oh no, there's another 6, and another 6. And the numbers seem to be, insurmountable.
Can I get a clear shot at any of them over here?
All of them. In fact, the ones that are in difficult terrain, which is probably just about all of them, you might even say that, well, maybe these 2 at least, will give you advantage on them as they get caught up in the mud. There's nowhere for them to move or to dodge. And they're pinned up against a glowing circle. It gives them few options.
I'll shoot another silver bolt at these guys.
Excellent.
Or at the first one.
All right, and it's lucky because your bolt travels so slowly that if he had anywhere to go, he'd be able to dodge, but instead he almost dodges into the light and gets caught by the blast instead, which tries to shield, but figuring that that's the worst that you've got, then it's probably worth trying to hunt you.
Okay.
Your minor blast does not deter them.
That's all I got.
So that's all she's got, Dalavash.
All right. I will move to here. I will use my bonus action to go into my starry form, and I will let off a guiding bolt to him.
Boom. Right on cue. Oh, and utterly annihilated. And that one causes them to realise that maybe this is not going to be as easy as they'd assumed.
And I will end my turn there.
Artisan, you're given hope by not just the accuracy of your party, but the sheer devastation that we're able to produce at times.
What was one of the 2 that are stuck in the mud? I want to loose the crossbow bolt at them.
Yeah. Perfect. And another solid hit. And this ghoul starts panicking, and they can't go up, can't really go down. Going forward's just going to put it in more danger. So it tries to fight its companions to get back the other way, and that doesn't seem to make them happy at all. Oh, I must have taken him off the map. Okay, so this one that I took off the map must be the marker. Yeah, that's him. So I'll just try to remember that this guy's gone. Ran away. Surrendered. There we go. Okay. So you remain where you are, Artisan?
Yeah.
All right. With this ghoul panicking and trying to get away and deterring the others, it agitates the others gravely. That was not meant to be a pun, but it was a good pun. They try to rip their way through their ally, and when that doesn't work, it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Doesn't get much farther. The next one does the same thing, trying to knock it aside, and that's more like it. Absolutely rips its head off in a brutal display of what awaits you if they should reach you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About here, and maybe a bit further along. So these ones up on the east are closing in. The ones on the north run down excitedly, eager to be the first to taste the tasty flesh. The ones on the far north likewise circle around through the only gap that they can find, the terrain at least slowing them down mercifully. But the ones that are already upon us, they look over and see Lady Eleanor with her blade at the ready, heavily armoured, and they think, hell no, and maneuver around instead.
That still puts him in my range.
Oh, because you've got polearm, have you?
Yeah,
Excellent, excellent.
so I'll take a swing at him.
Absolutely. He has no cover against you, though you have some against him. Okay, 14 is going to be enough. They are unarmored. Their flesh is soft. And the injury is pretty grievous. That ghoul lashes out not so much out of anger or hunger now, but out of shock, and rends his claws in the direction of Flightless. But Flightless, how do you evade this somewhat clumsy strike?
I guess I'm just too high, like on top of the logs where I am.
That works perfectly. Meanwhile, the other one closes in and sees Artisan, realizes that metal sucks when it comes to eating, and considers Mara to be a more tasty target instead. Mara, you're scratched across the face, a grievous injury that chills your blood, causes your heart to go into palpitations, and leaves you lethargic all the same. Make a constitution saving throw, and these are really important rolls. Very good. The paralysis that seems to be taking over your bones, your muscles, the lockjaw, similar to some kind of super tetanus, almost locks your muscles in place. But perhaps you've got enough adrenaline running right now that that you're able to fight on all the same. The Panther watches on with renewed interest, as do the Ravens.
Alrighty then. Yeah, I'm gonna drop my bow and whip out a dagger and try to stab this thing.
All right, just fending yourself off with it, and you go drive it into the chest. but because it has no vital organs to speak of, you probably penetrate its heart with that, and that freaks it out, since some memory of life distresses it, even though its heart hasn't beat for a long time. Good strike.
Yep. So that's 12 with sneak attack, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So imagine that you're engaged
that'll
right
be-
now as it
Yes.
lashes at your face. You stab into its chest. It's probably like a struggle with your arm reaching out, its arm reaching at you, and you're fighting each other like kangaroos. That's graphic. All right, Eleanor.
I'll take another swing at this closest ghoul.
Yeah. It's in a panic already. And the 11 will be enough to hit. They're completely unarmored and only as agile as the average person. That's taken the fight out of it completely. It breaks into a panicked run on its turn.
All right. Seeing it start to flee, I'll back up a little bit. Yes, I'll back up here, I suppose.
Excellent.
And I'll bonus action. No, I
Nothing
don't need
to
to
your
use-
paladin.
Yeah,
Bonus action, none.
that's it.
Sorry, I was being a little bit presumptuous. I played a paladin a long time ago, and I'm like, what do I even do in my bonus action? Nothing.
You can cast
dab on the
worse
enemies.
I cast dab, yeah.
Give them a chance to pray.
Okay. The one beside me is basically fleeing at this point, isn't it?
That's right. It turns its back to you and bolts.
Okay, so I'm going to take a step back, like onto like the second, because so I'm like just dipped underneath the pyramid from the ones approaching, and I'll bonus action hide.
Yeah, sure. It doesn't lunge out at you. It's far more concerned with its own life than with your presence.
Stealth is on its way.
Alien.
At 12, and I'll
Not bad.
I'll use my action to, when 3 of the ghouls pass this line here,
Yeah.
I'll attempt to like push the top log down on like into the valley.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's great. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Good idea.
All right. Alien, you see Flightless climb towards the ghoul, and then position himself. But now that Flightless has got so close to the ghoul, it seems to be more panicked than ever. It's likely that it'll lash out at him before running away, the way a dog might bite before retreating.
I'll kind of start dancing around over to here and give him a good little pokey poke.
Yeah, do the hokey pokey.
Uh-huh.
All right, it's going to be enough to make him turn around, and that's what it's all about. Blade goes through, blade emerges, and it's a beautifully coordinated position. It's almost as if a Flightless intended to distract it just so that you could come up and backstab. Oh, well, is that the end of your turn? Yep.
Yeah, that'll be the end.
Well, Dalavash, as frightening as this prospect was, and indeed still is, you look around at the party, and their tactical soundness is pretty solid. It's hardly high tech or revolutionary what they've done, crouching behind a log, but the coordination that the party is showing is pretty commendable, admirable.
All right, I will stay where I am, and I will launch off another fairy fire
yes, here we go. This one will be more effective. That's it.
Now those 4 guys.
I'm going to do a track quattro. The ones in the middle are caught, while the ones on the far front and back are able to jump out of the way.
And then I will use my bonus action to. My starry form is my archer form, so I'm going to do spell attack. I guess the ranged spell attack on this. And is there something I can just do a ranged spell attack on this?
Do you have like Produce Flame? Like any cantrip dice?
It's. Well, I guess I could just do it as a produce flame, but it's my archer.
Yeah. You could probably do it like that. Yeah. Otherwise, you might have to set the attack up yourself, which just involves.
A ranged spell attack is just any spell attack that's ranged. So Produce Flame is a ranged spell
Right.
attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that works. And you fire towards them, but maybe because they're already jumping and diving to get out of the way of the fairy fire. Were you attacking one of the ones that was glowing?
No, I was trying to get the guy who was close here.
Oh, of course, that makes sense. But perhaps you're just in too close a range for you to your movements become too predictable.
All right, and I will stick pretty much. I may move a little bit towards the. Stick right there.
All right. Well, with your back to the river, and the forest that we've already claimed behind us, you can feel fairly confident that no one's going to come up from the rear.
That ends my turn.
Artisan, this ghoul rushes in only to get a blade through its heart, and that fills it with an existential dread that is somewhat ironic for a creature that's already dead.
I can stow and make an attack. Stow my crossbow, make attack with my spear in the same turn, right?
Yes, no, well, not really, but yes.
No?
The rules is written you can't, but like I don't really care about, changing weapons. It's not a big deal for me.
All right. I guess I'll make a spear attack then.
Yeah.
Of course.
All right.
It
And
rushed around the corner and I wasn't prepared for it.
that's it. You almost lose grip on your spear, and now the ghoul's got one part of the shaft, and you've got the other, and you're madly wrestling for the weapon. But while you're distracted grabbing the weapon, it's holding it with its right hand, it lashes out with its left hand. Probably this time at Artisan, even though it can't eat you. So it lashes against your steel and wooden frame, and when it sees that you have neither blood nor flesh, it considers itself kind of foolish. But it's a little bit too late for regrets now.
If you look carefully, does it have a no regrets tattoo?
No regrets, that's right. Excuse me. Sorry about that. One of them moves in, running along the muddy shoreline behind the wood to position themselves. And that one will at least make it into combat. It going for Mara, seeing as Artisan is a waste of energy. Did that roll or didn't roll? I thought it was going to be a 20. No, maybe it did roll and I'm just lagging. I think I'm just lagging.
See it either, so.
Yeah, I think it rolled 20 might be lagging. I'll do it one more time. Okay, I've definitely done it 3 times now. So here we go.
Oh.
Take the first one, the 11.
Can I take an either of the other two? No. Okay.
No, it's 16.
Oh, it's the 16, isn't it? Yeah, the 16
Yep.
was the
Yep, that hits.
All right, so it lashes across you, across the other side of your face. You've now painted on both sides. and the cold disease that runs through your veins threatens to stop you in your tracks, but you are resilient. Perhaps there's a dash of elf blood in you somewhere.
Demon.
Yeah, that's like an elf. And the others can do little more than charge blindly forward to trying to be the first to partake of that tasty
Well,
blood.
there's 3.
Oh yeah, there was 3 there. Yep. And you were going to do what? You're going to push them. Yeah,
try
that's right.
to shove like the top log off into like the middle bit, like valley area.
Perfect. Make an athletics check. The DC will only be 10, so it should be relatively easy.
I'll use my inspiration.
Not like that. Not like that. Okay, brilliant. I'll make it a dexterity DC 13. Sounds about right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. So 2 of them are caught before they can ever make it. They get trapped back here and are probably restrained briefly. You can roll a d12 for each of them to see how much damage they take. That's great. Perfect. So they're caught up underneath the logs. They're knocked prone by the logs. They're trapped, but one of them nimbly dodges aside and manages to run up to get right in the face of probably maybe focus on Eleanor. Yeah. One comes up around behind you, flightless, but another one does the same. And since this is now effectively difficult terrain, making it not really a logical passage anymore, the others maneuver around to the other side. So all in all, we've bought ourselves a bit of time, a pretty effective little strategy. Our hunker down and wait turtle strategy has proven to be wise. And the Panther watches on with continued interest. It's giving you the same sort of look that a cat might while it watches birds frolic outside the window. Likewise, the ravens stay high in the sky, cawing, many of them up on the rafters. It's almost as if they're heckling you. Go, ghoul, go, human, go, human. Placing bets on the outcome. Murder gambling. Mara.
Well, shit. I'm gonna go ahead and take the disengage action
Alrighty.
and move back.
Wise choice.
And I will go ahead and use a healing word on myself.
All right.
And that's my turn.
Brilliant. So the scratches on your face scab over, and you're left with a sooty, dirty face, but one that no longer has the ravages of undead claws. Miss Eleanor.
Go swing at the one in front of me and miss. And that's about it, really. Swing and miss.
Too close range for a polearm, perhaps. And maybe this ghoul's got the grip on your haft as well. Sorry, you were saying?
I will do what I was thinking about with the bonus action last turn, and I'll use Shield of Faith. Why not?
Excellent.
Yeah, that's it.
Flightless, the pressure is on you now. Your tactics have been very good. Your positioning was quite sensible, but the ghoul's reaction has been equally cunning.
But I think he will use once again use the elevation of the logs to his advantage and use just bonus action disengage and get away from them.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
20 feet, and he'll shoot at one of the restrained ones.
Oh yeah, perfect. It's also prone, so you'll have disadvantage.
I thought since it's restrained, will that give advantage?
It does, so it cancels it out.
Yeah, I was sort of going for sneak attacks. I think I'll shoot one of the this one here, fighting artisan.
Probably a better choice, yeah.
Does the red mean berry fire? Like, what does that mean?
Damaged.
He's
No,
been
heavily injured.
Okay.
Yeah. Bloodied. 50% or less hit points.
17.
Brilliant. Excellent strike.
I forgot sneak attacks.
The sneak attack will be enough. Yeah, that's it. So, what does his death sequence look like?
I suppose as he's like trying to get past artisan, and now it just flies over his shoulder and gets him in the eye. Into the brain.
Brilliant. Alioun.
Continuing on my path of destruction, I'll do a little twirl over here and strike at this front one with a green flame blade.
Alright.
Beam through the second one.
Brilliant. Initially, the ghoul is very excited that you're coming towards it. It gets a little bit less excited, but then when you miss, the enthusiasm returns.
No, okay.
It dodges out of the way of your flaming green strike and doesn't like your sorcery, but it's not deterred by it.
Mm-hmm.
Dalavash, that's all she's got. She's holding her own on the left flank, Dalavash. The central corridor is also pretty secure. The right corridor is thinning. Once again, our tactics have been pretty effective. What do you do?
Alright, I will step over to the right and throw a second guiding bolt at this guy.
Here we go. Brilliant. And your flash of light explodes upon the ghoul and blasts off one of its arms and half of its face. It's terrorized, and that breaks the spirit of the one behind it as well.
Alright, and bonus action, I will do my shillelagh.
My shillelagh. Sorry.
And that's it.
All right, Artisan, you are holding the right flank. You were never designed to be a warbot like this. You have a different role on the battlefield, but you've adapted, and that's what the dwarves would have wanted.
I'm going to go ahead and make a spear attack.
All right. You wrench the spear out of its grip and drive it through the belly.
For meager 3.
A meager 3 indeed, but enough to scratch your opponent. And it's too distracted by the melee to notice that the companions that are following it are losing hope. But hope is not yet lost. So the claws lash out at Artisan. They try to rip out his pipes, whether they're breathing apparatus or fluid pipes or something, but they can't get a grip on anything. And that deters the others, who see that the only easy way out to escape this is into the forest. One of them is completely uninjured, but that doesn't stop it. It's running all the same. This one is practically dead, having lost half its face and one of its arms, and it eagerly limps off into the woods while its arm keeps writhing on the ground. These two attempt to free themselves with athletics checks. One busts itself out, runs off into the forest and is gone, and the other remains trapped, probably having its face trampled by its ally while it does. But these two figure that there's still a chance for them. All they need to do is take out the drow, bundle her up, and scurry her off into the forest, and maybe her companions won't pursue. So they, with the logs now knocked over, they're able to move into a little bit more horizontally. One lashes out at Aliun, misses. Another one lashes out. And the idea is they want to paralyze her. The injury is less important than the incapacitation.
So does that count now? Half health for?
Oh, I'll give you advantage. Yeah, I'll give you
Okay.
advantage on it. That makes sense. Brilliant. And they hiss and they spit, but they're banking on the party still being too engaged to care. And all they need to do is get one nick in that paralyzes her, and they'll be eating for days. The one that's fighting Lady Eleanor doesn't have quite the same level of confidence, but it's got nowhere to run, because if it runs, then you're just going to drive a halberd in the back of its skull. So instead, it reaches towards her face, puts one hand on one side of the head, one hand on the other, and bites off her nose.
Oh, if it wasn't for Shield of Faith, that would have hit.
You can smell its carrion breath, and you can feel its leathery tongue licking. But the Shield of Faith keeps you safe from the agony and the grossness alike.
Yeah, I imagine its teeth clench just inches from my nose as an invisible force pushes it back just a little bit.
Exactly. You can see the grave worms inside its throat.
I'll headbutt it and shove it back.
That's brilliant. The panther is kind of interested at this point, and darts over here to the edge of the thing, just so they can get a better view. Sitting up with its ears perked high and its tail flickering. It's very interested. Several of the ravens come down and watch as well, including one particularly large raven that comes to settle on the rafters halfway between the blade and the panther. There are crows everywhere. Mara.
All right, Mara is gonna come over here, support her lady, and this time it's gonna pull out her rapier. 14 hit.
14's going to be enough.
10.
He regrets not running while he had the chance, but then again, perhaps there was no chance anyway.
And that's my
Lady
turn.
Eleanor. The ghoul is still fighting fit, but it's afraid.
I'll take a swing at it too.
Excellent.
11.
And that will knock it down. It's on 1 hit point, but at this point it makes sense that it would just be knocked off its feet, lying prone and begging for the semblance of life that it has been cursed with.
Not going to get any mercy from me.
I wouldn't have thought so. But a ghoul's got to do what a ghoul's got to do. Flightless. This battle seems to be won, and yet we could still lose Aliun if the ghouls are quick about it.
I mean, she's a drow. Like, she should have no issue like killing them.
Precisely.
But
And if she does, and if we do lose her, then it's no great loss anyway.
I think maybe it's better to be useful because she might still hand me in.
Oh, your pragmatism is overcoming your common sense here, Bird.
No, he doesn't want the drow to kill him. So he'll do an arrow towards the top one.
So you're playing 4D chess here. Like you don't want the drow to kill you, so you can't let the drow die, because if the drow nearly dies and then doesn't die, she's going to kill you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she definitely noticed me run past her.
Right? It's your fault in her eyes, anyway. Maybe. All right.
No, in your eyes of her eyes.
Yeah,
that's
in his
that's
eyes,
exactly
her
what I
eyes.
mean. Yeah, that's right. Precisely what I mean. So it's
I
a
was
great
thinking
show.
the
That's
exact
10
same
damage.
thing.
I'm glad everyone was on the same level. Yeah, that's good. A real sign that we know the characters already, and it's a great shot. That drives into his flank. It's a grievous wound, but not fatal. Certainly enough to discourage it though, and make it regret its desperation for fresh meat.
Then he'll bonus action hide in this bush.
Excellent. You find Dalabash there. Hey, Dalabash.
So it turns out hiding next to like Starman isn't very stealthy.
Yeah, there is a flawed strategy.
I'll just do like a sweeping blow between the two of them again.
Excellent.
There we go.
Brilliant.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mid damage.
It's perhaps because you did a sweeping blow with a rapier. It's a stabbing weapon, right? But you just lashed out at it, which will hurt. Getting whipped by a rapier does hurt. It just rarely kills.
Yeah, but it's 4 damage to each though.
4 to each of them. That does help. Oh, not -4. That's okay,
Yeah, -4. That's what you want.
yeah, right.
That right there, Bill.
That's not quite what I wanted. The ghouls are now bleeding, cut. One of them is you've opened up a slash across its throat. The grave worms are pouring out. You can see the rotten vertebrae.
Oh,
yeah.
as a bonus action, I'll healing light myself.
Brilliant. And the healing light is really the final straw for them. Not only are you able to hit both of them with a single strike, but they can't drag you off now, and then you glow with radiance, and the positive energy just radiates from you. That's the final straw.
Okay.
Dalabash, you can now peacefully let the ghouls just run away, like let them go and be with their families and pets and stuff.
Yeah, I knew the drow's wounds were just a trick.
There we go. An illusion.
She was just trying to get
Do
me
you want to let?
She was just trying to get me to try to betray her.
It's a test. It's like Loft does that sort of shit all the time.
Do we want to let these guys go, or we want to keep taking them out?
Oh, they're ghouls. I plan to slaughter every one of them that I can.
Yeah, sounds good. I will let off my archer attack on the injured guy near Leon.
A couple of you look at Dalabash and you go, dude, was that a serious question? Like, did you actually mean that? Okay. So that was the one closest to Lady Eleanor, is that right? Oh, that one. Boom. It and so is it like a starlight arrow or something? What's that attack that you're doing?
It's a 1d8 plus my wisdom modifier, so it's 1d8 plus 3.
Cool. Does it actually use your arrows, or is it something else?
It is once per turn. I can make as a bonus action on my subsequent turns, I can make a ranged spell attack hurling a luminous arrow at the target creature.
And radiant damage, I assume?
Yes.
Brilliant. So that is well, I was going to say golden, but it's probably silver. Anyway, that is beautiful. This magical arrow manifests and strikes it, and the ghoul just explodes into oblivion. Not even chunked from me.
Then I'll step up next to Artisan and try to take a shillelagh hit at that guy.
Brilliant.
So Shillelagh hit is just a
Melee attack, I think, or is it wisdom? I'm not sure.
Melee plus wisdom instead of strength.
Right, yeah, so, yeah, cool. So you might have to set up a separate attack for that. So you'll be using it from time to time? Excellent. And what is a unusually feeble strike drives off the ghoul anyway.
and that will end my turn.
This one near Alioun is going to dare to lash out at her face with its claws.
Still my.
Oh, is it still your go? Did I skip? Right. My mistake. Yeah.
Since she was being attacked and this thing is doing nothing but ignoring me, I'm gonna chance walking away from it just to support them over there.
Yeah. And it does lash out at you. It's snapping, biting you in the back of the neck, but it breaks its teeth in the process.
It's just, I can just imagine it like, what the hell? Pretty much breaking its fingers, trying to grab onto me. It breaks its jaw, trying to. It's just sitting there like broken, like with nothing to show for what it did. And just because I haven't been able to use it yet, I'm gonna throw my spear at that guy.
Excellent.
Fuck. Well, it whizzes past them, and then it whizzes back into my hand.
Brilliant. So one that dares to lash out at Alioun. 9 damage, hoping that'll paralyze her, but of course she's immune to the paralysis, if not to the wound. And then Alioun, it runs away at full pelt.
Fully expecting that, I'll have my rapier prepared to stab it.
Excellent, and fully prepared for you to fully be fully prepared. It swats your blade away. And,
it was a 22.
Oh, it's a 22. Oh, I saw the 7 for some reason. Yeah, great. Now 22 is easily enough, and that will. Is it green flame blade?
No, I can't do that as a cantrip yet, so it's just 9 damage.
9 damage, a grievous injury, but not lethal, and you're able to see as a trail of innards, gizzards, and intestines and other organs are kind of left behind. So if you were desperate to track these creatures down into the forest, then it's likely that you can follow these gibbets and viscera, at least in a general direction. As for the other ones, this one scrambles to its feet and attempts to flee. Probably not going to get anywhere. Eleanor and Mara both on its case.
It hasn't left my range yet.
No. Oh, good point. Well, yeah, there it does. So yeah, killed by Mara, and you're ready to hack at it, but she does the job for you. This one spent its action getting out of the logs, and is still trapped. This one just bolts. Dalavash, you can take an attack of opportunity as it runs at full pelt away. Yeah, that's going to do it. Straight into the back. A D8 plus wisdom, I think. Yeah, that's it. So a great strike, a brutal strike, a crippling strike. And while the ghoul keeps looking over its shoulder, it's sort of ironic, right? Like from a horror slasher film flick, that the monster movie is looking over its shoulder as it runs, trying to get away from the hero, and it stumbles, paying more attention to you guys than where it's going, and runs straight into that magic circle and is instantly incinerated in a burst of moonlight.
Ooh.
And that just leaves one on the ground, struggling, not begging for its existence, just trying to push off the logs, and its leg is still trapped, and it doesn't have the strength to push that final one off. It's trying to drag itself away. It doesn't beg. It's like a mouse that's caught by a cat. It's then executed.
So I guess the ones
Everybody lining up.
above the 5, like high up on the map, are they the ones that run away?
Yeah, and they flee as well.
Oh, I'm going, hun. Are we going to let them run away, or are you gonna go after them?
I imagine they're probably split up, like all gone in different directions in the forest. So
That's
it'd be
correct.
Hmm.
Yeah,
be a bit
you'll be hunting
pointless.
them in groups of 1s, 2s, or 3s at best. Yeah.
As much as I'd like to kill them all, I don't think it's realistic.
That one that ran away from me, can I blast it with Eldritch Blast?
Yeah, you'll have disadvantage, but you can have a go.
Oh, if I'll have disadvantage, I'll hit it with a Sacred Flame instead.
Yeah, that's cool. So dexterity save, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
For 1 damage.
And 1 damage will be enough for it to be caught within the torch, and it waves its way through the forest, burning with radiant energy before dropping dead.
Okay.
Mara's going to start collecting the corpses and piling them up.
Sure. There's not that many of them, really. We probably killed about half of the number that were there.
So are these all humans, or once were humans?
Are they all humans?
We're I don't know about D&D specifically, but
Because I don't know how. I don't know how ghouls are created.
Yeah, they probably are all humans. Yeah.
So can I? Because these might be the lumberjacks, is my thinking. So I'm just thinking,
Or
can I like
the
examine
pile
them for like a common injury that we didn't inflict upon them? Maybe like our
Yeah.
shots or something.
Yeah, go ahead. Make a medicine check, I suppose, or investigation.
10. Or just might be a bit
It
rotten.
looks like most of them have the wounds or the scars, if you will, the death wounds of claws and bites. It looks like they were scratched or bitten prior to their conversion, their death, whatever.
So you'll just point
does it look like they... Oh, go ahead.
So I see just point a few of them out and just go beasts.
Does it look like their own claws kind of did it?
Definitely could be. Yeah, definitely could be.
Is there anything to indicate that any of them had anything to do with the, I guess, were they humans that were part of this, or did they simply show up because the smell of death?
None of them had any clothing on, so it becomes very difficult to identify what profession they might have had. They're all stark naked.
What happens? I'm going to take like the severed arm and throw it towards the circle to see if it will catch on fire.
It does. It vaporizes in a flash of silver light that is reminiscent of moonlight.
Seeing this, I'll ask Lady Eleanor to help me dispose of the bodies this way. I was going to make a pyre, but like this is much more efficient and less damaging to the environment, it seems.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, sanctified, really.
Yeah, keep an eye on that jaguar looking the panther as
It doesn't
we do
like
that.
what you're doing. Yeah, it doesn't like you polluting the circle with your undead. But apart from the more obvious agitation of flickering tails and laid back ears, it doesn't roar or anything.
So can I try to, watching it? Can I try to like ascertain whether or not like is this just an animal being territorial, or is this might, because I'm thinking this might be a shapeshift of some sort.
Yeah, that's a fair proposition. I guess insight is what you're after.
17.
All right. So, is this just an animal? It's behaving fundamentally the way a cat would, but panthers of all creatures are pretty skittish. Big cats tend to be very brave in general, but but cautious for their size and for their danger levels. A lion will walk away from a hunter rather than risk, being hunted. This panther is unusually brave for any animal, particularly for a panther. But what is most telling about it is that there is a pile of corpses behind it, huge amount of corpses, some of them wearing flannelettes or cardigans or leathers, the sort of furs and leather that is pretty common to Dale's folk. But the panther is not consuming any of those corpses, and instead it spends, when it's not looking directly at you, with fury and malice and mistrust, it glances up somewhat affectionately at the crows up in the rafters.
I suppose I'll just look directly at it and do. Hail all, you mind introducing yourselves?
No, I'm going to add to that. I'm going to, in Druidic, I'm going to say hail as well, just in case.
The panther growls until you speak Druidic, and then it suddenly stops, tilts its head on one side, and is a bit confused. And the largest of the ravens up in the rafters turns into a halfling woman. She is probably a little less than 3 feet tall, raven black hair, black leathers, a short bow, a range of blades, including a scimitar. And she's got her bow drawn. When she comes out of her bird form, her bow's already drawn and trained probably on Aliun. But then but she lowers it almost as soon as she assumes her humanoid form. Oh, what circle are you? She asked Dalabash directly.
Circle of stars, my lady. And you?
I'm the circle of the moon, so I suppose that makes us cousins or something.
Family, the circle of the moon. I come from the mountains.
Oh, do you have the black blood?
I do not. The black blood is the lycanthrope, right?
That's right, yeah, the lycanthropes. But the corpse, which is evidently of a well-dressed woman who's been dead for quite some time, still hangs in the gallows. There's several corpses here of lumberjacks or foremen or timber workers, labourers, but the person hanging from the gallows is more like a receptionist, a businesswoman.
Who is that?
Oh, well, they're violators of the law. You see this? And she points towards the gallows. It's made of silver top, 100% silver top. They committed a crime by chopping down these trees, and now they've paid for their crimes, for their massacre.
I see.
So you're saying that you killed all these people?
We killed them in the name of protection of the environment, in the name of the Dale's Compact, of the Elven Law, in the name of Malar and the gods of nature.
Do we know about this? Do I know about this? What she's talking about?
Yeah, I guess I'll go through them quickly one by one. The Dales Compact is the law. It's been around for 1,300 years. It's the culture that the Dales is based on, and it itself is based off Elven law. When the humans moved in here, they came into conflict with the elves. Eventually, the elves are like, "We're not going to win this war, guys. Like they reproduce like fucking rabbits. We have one child every 100 years. We might be peerless archers, and we might know this territory, but inevitably they're gonna outbreed us." So the elves wisely convinced the Dale folk to adopt the Dale's Compact, which is basically Elven law and Elven culture. Don't chop down these trees. Don't hunt these animals. Respect this. Obey that. If you can think of the sort of law that elves would probably agree with, then it almost certainly applies in the Dales. And what she's specifically talking about are a group of trees called silver tops. Silvertops are beautiful silver trees, some of the most expensive cabinet timber in the world. But elves don't go to heaven. There is no elven heaven. Some elves go to Evermeet, which is like an elven paradise, not a heaven, but similar. But other elves invest themselves into the forest. Their spirits literally inhabit certain trees, namely the Silvertops. So from a druidic point of view, from an elven point of view, this is worse than knocking down someone's tombstone, because a tombstone doesn't hold your soul.
Yeah, this is their next life that you just killed.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. So if you value trees as much as you value human lives, then she's got a point. And if you don't, then, well, you've got a point.
So should I assume your grievances have been met at this point now? You've taken care of the law?
Uh-huh, that's right. And now they will never violate the law again. I think we should destroy this building so that there is no more of this illegal logging that goes on. They had their chance.
But did you really give them a chance? Did you walk in and talk to them, or did you just slaughter them all?
Hello, the Dales Compact is 1,300 years old. If they don't know the rules, then maybe they should have been taught better.
And because
Maybe.
they did not have teachers, you slaughtered them?
Uh-huh, that's right. After all, that's the human way, isn't it? A king makes a pact with the ancients, and then that king grows old and dies, and the next king forgets all about the laws and the rules, and they have to be taught all over again. This is a lesson. This is a lesson that the community will never forget. We won't have to teach them another lesson like this for a generation.
The guy who gave us he said that they sent a second group, so I suppose I'll just mimic him saying the second group went out but never came back.
Yeah, what happened to the other groups then?
She gestures towards the corpses, some of which are still wearing chainmail or scale or whatever it is that's standard for Daggerdale's troops.
And what was the crime that they committed?
They violated the place. They attacked the animals and tried to. They killed my companions, and the crows are all cawing and squawking. An eye for an eye.
Hmm.
I'm looking at this magic circle.
Yeah. Would Identify work on? Well, I don't know if it would work on a magic circle, but would I be able to try?
Takes a minute to cast.
Yeah. So he'll lapse back into his drow voice. It's like, listen to that creature. It's just some creatures just use excuses to kill whatever they want. Once you have them wavering, you know you've got them.
We can huddle and.
I'm curiously going to pull out a silver piece and just flick it across the threshold of the circle, see what happens to it.
It goes straight over the line, doesn't seem to violate it, and the halfling nimbly jumps out of the rafters, catches it in midair, looks at it, and flicks it back to you.
I catch it. So it seems like this magic circle doesn't obliterate everything that touches it.
No, of course not. It's designed to keep out the undead, the living abominations that might desecrate this holy site. And she looks at you like as if you're some kind of idiot.
What makes this a holy site?
It's sanctified. A lot of people died here.
Yes, I can see that.
She goes up and gives the corpse, swinging the gallows, a push so that it rocks back and forth.
Grip my
So
hand.
the gallows are made of that silver top?
That's right. And they must be the most expensive gallows in the Eastern world.
is
made-
all of the wood
was-
here silver
So
top?
they made a gallows here.
No, they didn't make the gallows. We made the gallows. They cut down the trees. I don't know what they were going to do with it, but it doesn't matter. We made the gallows. It's a symbol of their greed and the punishment that they suffer because they are so greedy and so full of hate, so angry, so wrathful. They deserve this.
So you took something that us druids revere and turned it into a symbol of death.
Yeah, well, it's ironic, okay? It's ironic.
You used basically a brother's body to adorn with others.
You obviously don't understand poetic justice.
I think I understand poor taste.
Poetic
Yeah,
justice would be making an axe out of it and then cutting them up, cutting them down about midsection.
She winces and she pouts, but you can see that she concedes that you've all got a very valid point. But she's not going to admit it.
Okay, if I look around, is all the wood like the silver top wood, or is it just sort of whatever trees they've managed to see?
The gallows is all silver top. There is lots of other wood here, normal, legitimate wood, probably 10 tons of it. But the gallows is made entirely of this hyper expensive cabinet timber, probably 10 gold pieces a pound.
I guess walking through the forest, how rare are these trees?
Very rare. Yeah, certainly less than 1 in 1,000 trees. Certainly less than.
I suppose it's a bit awkward, but he just sort of was like, how much did they steal?
They chopped down a whole copse of silver tops. 5 souls gone forever.
Not necessarily. They may be dead, yes, but you can always cherish their memory by repurposing what they were. Instead of making a symbol of death, repurpose the wood to where it would benefit everyone, and that partakes in the forest.
I'm sorry, you just don't understand what she means. These were elven souls. They would have been reborn again and again. There's only so many of us in the world.
They're gone now. And this world gets one step closer to being a human-infested wasteland.
I guess we can try to explain
Yeah.
that we're.
I'm gonna recommend. I'm gonna say, how about this? How about we undo these gallows, create some kind of memorial, at least create life out of this instead of death, and we will bring word of what happened back to the city so that others do not try to do that again.
And we can also enforce it. We have that, I guess, jurisdiction to say that we can look over this and ensure that they don't fuck up again.
Do we have jurisdiction?
That's a really good idea. A
Well-
monument. Something beautiful so we can forget about all the horror and the pain. They've paid the price. They paid the ultimate price, and they deserved it. No mercy. But maybe we can make life from all this death, and the cycle can begin again.
We happen to have an outstanding craftsman, as one of us who, over time, is learning to create with wood. I think he would be able to, in time, create a beautiful monument.
Oh. Well, okay, sure. I think that's a really great idea. Can I help?
Of course. I'm sure artisan,
Yeah.
you would love to work on this.
I think yes. To start, we would have, I'd say, to take it down, uh, so it can be reshapen.
Okay, she scrambles up the gallows and puts a knife to the rope. Somebody help her, please. Gestures towards the corpse.
I suppose he'll step forward and sort of like pour like just above the like where the circle starts, and when he doesn't, burst into radiant flame. Just step over it. And then he'll go up and start helping.
All right.
Okay. So we'll help dismantle this.
Yeah.
All right. Bit
That's
by
the-
bit. Yep.
While they're dismantling it and working on the monument, I'll insist that I take possession of the bodies of the slain so that I can properly bury them.
Of course. That's a really good idea.
All right, and I'll spend my time digging graves for each and every one of them.
And I will help him. Help her, sorry.
Absolutely.
I'll help as well after I'm done burning all the ghoul corpses.
The halfling also helps, showing such a bizarre level of guilt or compassion for a massacre that she was proud of only moments ago.
Talk about raining on someone's parade.
He'll like sift through them, like try to find the holy symbols if they had any.
Let's have a look. There might be something like that here. There are some, if not, maybe not holy symbols, but like
Symbols.
family symbols, signet rings, earrings, something of sentimental value
Like
to people.
like identifying marks. Stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly right. Yeah. Yeah. Just that signet rings, earrings, necklaces, not identity cards, but something like that. All right.
Sure, when we take those things
yeah.
back, they can be distributed
Yeah.
to
Returned.
people, the relatives of the deceased.
Exactly. They're in a community that size, it's likely that people can recognise what's theirs and what's not. All right.
I
I'm going
don't.
to take a couple of minutes. Sorry, keep going.
I was just going to add that once the graves are dug and we bury each person, I'm not a cleric or anything, but being a paladin, I probably know a few rites. So I'd say a little something before each of them to help their souls move on.
Excellent. Now, this scene isn't over, but I've got to deal with something, so we might as well, call it for now. I'll come back in a moment and we can finish it. But you level up at this point, or at least you level up upon taking a long rest. So you can go ahead and get started on that if you want, and I'll be back in a few minutes.
Oh wow,
Right.
that was fast.
This is gonna be fun.
Nice.
What was it? When did we last get a level?
2 sessions ago.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's
You're
good.
killing the
This is a
arsonist wizard.
major.
Yeah,
This is
right
a
after.
milestone. Are we level 3 now?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought so. We definitely should be. So this is good timing. Cool. See you
Okay.
shortly.
Righty.
We just leveled super slow last time.
Yeah.
We did just fight 17 ghouls.
And how many freaking things did we fight in the last battle?
17.
Yeah,
So,
it's our lucky
17
freaking number.
The Saturday night game. I think we're only level 5, and we've been playing since December.
I think the slowest leveling I had was in a Adventures in Middle Earth game where we were like nearly 8 sessions at level 1.
That's kind of what
Wow.
that game's meant to be played like. Not really meant to, like, level 5 is topping out for Middle Earth.
Yeah, but I really like there's like a Gandalf class, and I really wanted to get to one of their abilities. where it's just like once per session you can just say something happens. It's like, I knew the guards would arrest us, so I came here early and put a key under this rock.
Yeah.
You can just Deus Ex Machina your way out of a problem.
I can actually take a
Oh,
tool proficiency right now.
I'm surprised that my subclass is actually available for me to pick, so I don't have to copy and paste stuff in.
I get an Eldritch Evocation.
Woo, sorcery points that I can't do anything with right now.
Can't
Second
you
level
convert them into
sorcerer.
spell slots?
Okay, yeah, I can make a first level spell slot with it.
Or get 4 sorcery points?
Can't have more than your level.
Oh, well. You can convert 2 into a spell slot, then spend 4 to make another spell slot.
But I only have 2 sorcery points.
I know.
It's all I have.
Yeah, but the lowest I can roll on an insight check is 14 now.
Very good at it.
Use the flask of oil to burn the corpses. The ghoul corpses. Don't want those coming back again.
We do not.
Wait, can
So what did I miss? I had to run to the bathroom real quick.
Nothing, I think.
Basically, we killed the ghouls, we spoke to the person, got a full confession, so we can go back now.
yeah.
Cool.
We made her feel guilty somehow.
I don't, because
What?
I think it's more that like they deserved what they did, but like she realized that what she did was like basically a human thing to do. Like it was like too like disrespectful, I guess. I guess the real elven way would just be to kill them and bury them for their crimes, but like this sort of goes beyond what they like justice for what they did.
Yeah, this is just like what's the word?
Yeah, she just slaughtered them because she was angry, and now she's saying, "Oh, it's because of elven justice."
Yeah, and like not just killed them, but then proceeded to make like an effigy out of the wood.
Make a statement. This is politics, guys.
Is just psychoanalyzing the edgy druid.
I'm glad you did. She's one of my favorite characters. So yeah, and so through the burial, she seems, I guess, contrite is maybe the right word. Maybe not regretful, but perhaps regretful that she had to do it. Yeah, you know, regretful that she had no choice.
Of course.
Of course.
I just got shield apparently, so that's cool.
Nice.
Good one.
I didn't realize you got that as a battlesmith, so I'm exactly where my whatchamacallit spellcaster was as far as defense at level 12. Yeah. Because I was 19 AC with all of the gear I had on for
Yeah.
Raws and Shield, so I'm exactly at that point now with this guy.
You always had a pretty low AC, Ross. Yeah.
But 27 hit points, hell yeah, my gamer.
Oh, Arctic, I picked up Devil Sight. So I have
Oh, great.
120 dark vision now.
Oh, okay. I'll make that adjustment on the token page now, and hopefully I only have to do it once that way.
Can I spend the rest that we did making the right tool for the job for Carpenter's Tools to make that monument thing?
Yeah. You get the tool made during that time. The work itself will take a bit longer.
Okay. I decided to just go with the free proficiency to make it Carpenter's Tools since use for it is right now. So I'll find something
Good
else
choice.
to apprentice with.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's cool. You'll get another skill up for level 5, and that's not too far away anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody getting a pass without trace already?
Nope.
Something we want to have.
Probably.
It
good
gets
stuff.
bonkers with a rogue.
It does, right? Like
Yeah.
32s.
32s. Yeah, dragons aren't going to spot that coming. That's Bilbo levels of stealth.
I mean, he still sensed Bilbo.
I was going to say that was a decidedly wrong statement, wasn't it? Maybe
You're
Smoke
fired.
has plus 16 there.
Smoke had true sight.
Yeah, I think so.
No, Bibble just rolled bad.
Yeah, that could be it too. Alright, so that token looks like it's done it properly, I think.
That looks right.
Good. During the burial, she tells you that she's looking for some certain treasures, but she hasn't been able to find them. Somebody, one of these people, must have desecrated the shrine of Eldath within the border forest. The sacred jewels of Eldath were taken from the shrine, and it was left desecrated. These people, they're responsible
What makes you so sure of that?
because that's what the Zentarum do. They desecrate holy sites and use them for profit.
Were these Zentarum?
Of course, they're part of the human empire.
You have a lot to learn.
Not all humans are Zentarum.
All the humans around here are. This is Zentarum country, from Dagger Falls to the Moonsea.
You seem to be out of touch. Dagger Falls freed itself from the rule of Zentarum.
No, it didn't.
No, preposterous.
Because someone said Zentarum were not allowed within the city, I'll just repeat. I thought was it Randalmorn? I'll just repeat that back to her.
Oh.
It's really nice having our playback machine with us. Just saying.
Oh, they're not slavers?
No.
Not that we've seen.
Then why did they steal the sacred jewels of Eldath?
We don't know if they did. You're making an assumption.
Maybe
somebody did.
Well, maybe we can figure out who.
And they cut down a tree and didn't know any better.
Well, maybe they destroyed a shrine and didn't know any better as well. Maybe they found the shrine and saw the jewels and they decided to destroy it because they're greedy, because they want silver tops and all they care about is money. That's what I think happened.
Can I like
There's
go
a
through?
lot of.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say there's a lot of if to that.
Yeah.
So can I look through like the rest of the wood and see if they've like, did they like store it separately, like it was something special, or is it just sort of in with the rest of it? Like the
The
special
silver
wood?
tops?
Yeah.
I guess you wouldn't know because it's all been assembled here into the gallows, but she will answer the question if it comes up to you, and she does tell you that it was definitely categorized as separate wood, like it was put in a pile of its own, yeah, and kept out of the weather. You know, they obviously knew it, that it had a higher value than the rest
Okay.
of the timber.
Okay.
But that could just be because it's so beautiful. It's magnificent. It's like reflective silver wood. Imagine that.
Hmm.
Yeah, maybe we can assist in finding this treasure.
Sure. And returning it, of course. Well, of course. You've got the right to hang on to it as much as I do. We're both ordained. Well, uh, you need to find the sacred jewels of Eldath and give it to, who are you? Starlight?
My name is Delavesh.
Delavash. I'm Ace. And it's, I guess it's good to meet you.
As it is you. So where do we need to return? Where do the jewels need to go back to?
Well, the shrine's destroyed now, so what's best is that a druid keeps them, finds them, and keeps them until a new shrine can be built.
Well, then if we find them, I will make sure that that is done.
Oh, where could they be? If they're not here, maybe they're all the way back in Zento Keep by now. It's a horrible place.
Can you direct us to where the shrine was? Maybe we can find some evidence that would direct us to where they need to go.
Okay, I can do that. And so when you're finished the long rest, she'll lead an expedition into the forest to show you where it occurred. All right. So we spend the time here. We arrive before midday. So by the time we've disassembled the gallows and buried the bodies, it's probably mid-afternoon or early afternoon anyway. A long rest will take us to around about midnight. Ace is perfectly fine traveling at midnight. What about the rest of us?
I enjoy traveling at midnight.
I love traveling at night.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to ask Ace if she knows anything about the giant building the wall.
Oh, him? I think he hates goblins or something. I'm pretty sure he's an independent contractor working for the Zentarum.
Are you sure about that? Seems like the Zentarum have goblins.
Oh, well, who else would hire a giant? Right?
Well, maybe he just doesn't want goblins coming this way. Or that
Yeah,
way.
maybe. I guess that might be true. Do you think giants can get infected with lycanthropy? What would happen? Would he become like a dire wolf?
That sounds terrifying.
I don't want to imagine what that might look like.
Dire
Foreshadowing.
He sneaks up behind him and bites him in the neck.
That's it. Yeah, giant with plus 18 to stealth.
No, that would be terrifying.
Okay. So around about midnight, she leads you into the forest, and to around about dawn, you make it to the site of desecration. It's a beautiful, pristine river, a little pristine stream. It's not very broad, but it's extremely clean, filled with animal life, fish and turtles and frogs and so on. It's essentially a pillar, or it was essentially a pillar, like a single column, ionic, a Greek style of column, if you will. Nothing to support, no floor that it's standing on, just a column standing all by itself. But that column has been smashed. Someone's taken to it with hammers and chisels and just broken it apart to relieve it of a number of jewels that were embedded within. So the whole thing is now broken and twisted and shattered and desecrated. A holy site has been destroyed.
Shake my head.
Mm.
This is terrible.
Yeah, it's a crime against the gods.
What was the shrine made out of?
It was originally made out of not marble, or they would have taken the marble as well, but perhaps concrete that looks like marble.
All right, who's our investigators? Let's check this place out.
I guess he'll like search around, look for like tracks, and try to find like where specifically things would be taken from. So because that's where the most tracks would be.
Don't you think I've already tried that?
It looks like the creature's eyes are quite unerring.
Haha. Go ahead and make a perception check at disadvantage, or a survival rather.
I think I'll go with perception if the option's there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I will try a survival check.
Yeah, sure.
18.
Look, both of you ascertain that there is no tracks here, but the river does indeed lead eventually down towards Stonehome. So it's not a completely illogical. Not Stonehome, down to the sawmill. So it's not a completely illogical conclusion. But neither is there any evidence except the fact that the river runs from here to the logging to the sawmill.
How can I distinguish these gems?
They are moonstones and a sapphire. Beautiful pearl white with a hint of blue. And the sapphire is the sapphire of still waters, crystal clear, and it sparkles with magical energy. It's said to hold the essence of the plane of elemental water within it.
Are there any so I can, with Tinker's tools, I can inspect damaged objects. Can I see how long ago it was damaged?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and make a I guess an investigation or Tinker's tools check.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened to my page actually. Hold on.
Probably died. Probably
Yeah. God, I hope so.
Got removed from the internet.
Do I just need to make a tool check, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
tool check with whatever skill that you think is most appropriate.
So you're assigned to artisan, like they must be pretty skilled to have left no track at all.
What was that, Carrot?
He was just mentioning that they must be pretty skilled to have left nothing at all. Like these woodcutters must be quite amazing, like at stealth.
Yeah. Well, it's been over a month. Yeah, and I guess that's the check that went. There we go, top pyro. So it's been about 5 weeks since this was.
Okay, that makes more
this
sense.
site was hit. Yeah, and obviously 5 weeks is a long time for tracks to last in a forest.
course I net on that.
Just a very, very important role.
It was 5 weeks, 2 days, 3 hours, 37 seconds.
Yeah. Actually, that will actually reveal some information. Tracks will have well and truly gone within 5 weeks. There's no doubt about that. But the regrowth will not. So someone's come through here and haven't had machetes. They've used short swords or long swords, weapons of war, to chop away at the saplings and the branches and the trees and the vines and so on, clearing out a path. And it looks like a path made for a large contingent of people. There's no direct evidence that there was more than 20 people here, but the amount of damage that's been done to the forest would indicate that a small army marched through here.
What direction?
No, not. It's not clear. The tracks don't tell us. But they've leveled this place around here. Yeah.
Maybe there might be some credence to the Zentarum theory after all. There's this many people.
The Centarum seem like the culpritors, the perpetrators.
Do we know which cardinal direction they went?
No.
Okay.
After like 5 or 6 weeks, there's evidence that people were here a long time ago. They've made a clearing, but there's no indication where their footprints are.
Do we know of the Zentarum logging camp, or is that just on the map?
Yeah, it's known. Not well known, perhaps, but known well enough. Yeah, that it's there.
They might have gone there. That's the one place we know we would find Zentarum in this area.
Yeah, maybe we can check there.
But what do we do when we get there? I doubt they'd be willing to talk to us.
I think we can figure a way in. Or at least a couple of us can sneak and check.
Possibly. If it gets ugly, I can't say I'd be too upset.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you want to do then?
Sounds like it.
All right.
Yeah.
Before we go there, how do I make my Still Defender for this? Because this will be the first time I actually need it, and I had no idea how to do it.
Oh,
To be like a
so
companion.
how do you? Yeah,
Companion?
yeah. So I'll start with giving you a character sheet, and then you'll just have to enter it in manually, I think.
Okay.
I might be. Yeah, so companion A, B, C, right down the bottom of pets and companions. I'm pretty sure you just have to do it manually. Yeah, there might be a different way of doing it. Make it an NPC when it gives you the option PC or NPC. Choose NPC.
Oh, there's a
character sheet will be
steel
much
defender
more
for the
normal.
battlesmith in the companion.
I thought there might be. Good. Yeah, good. So you'd just be able to copy and paste that.
Yeah, in monsters, it's the steel defender and then steel defender for proficiency bonus 2 and up.
Oh, that's really awesome. If Roll20's done something right for once.
So I think for now we need the PB2 one.
Oh, he's so cute. Got the puppy face.
I want it to be more like a not so puppy-ish.
Hang on a sec.
He just looks like he needs a pat on the head.
He's the best boy.
I'll be back in a few minutes. I won't be very long.
Right.
Just feed him like iron nuggets.
Yeah. I'm just happy I have something to whack with my hammer.
If you cast Mending on it, it heals 2d6.
Yep. As a cantrip too, so I could just heal it as much as I want.
If you use during a long rest, if you make one when you have the other one, it just immediately dies.
Yep.
It's bad like having a steel defenders to have it watch you make another one.
Have it guard your camp, or bring you tools to make another one. There we go.
It's like me no like you no more as it dies.
Are they sentient though? Are they just soulless automatons?
I'm pretty sure they.
Short answer,
Not-
yes.
They're sentient if I'm not around. They
Yeah,
do what they want if I'm not around.
Yeah, your tinkering has born you a faithful companion. It is friendly to you and your companions.
Yeah, I guess it must be somewhat sentient at least.
It can do all the actions that a player can, apparently.
Is artisan sentient? Or is it just programming?
This is armor 15.
How could you possibly dismiss that face?
Have you seen the dwarven spiders from whatchamacallit?
Skyrim?
Skyrim, yeah, that's what I'm picturing.
But best boy. Don't go big puppy boy. Yeah, okay, fine.
Okay. Its hit points are its con, so +2 plus my intelligence. +3, 5. 5 times your level in this class.
So what, 20 HP altogether?
Yeah. 20 HP. Look at that.
I mean, well, boys and girls, we got a full confession.
Yeah.
All right, that should be the last interruption. Yeah, I'm trying to import some things. There's an incomplete table. I'm trying to do some importing, but Roll20's not cooperating. This might be doing it. All right. Delavash, could you roll a D100, please? Get us started. Okay, good. Thank you very much. Interesting. That makes sense. Okay. What's our passive perceptions?
16.
My dog's is 14.
It's not bad.
Mine's 12.
15.
That's good. All right, Dalavash and gosh, I need to remember these characters. Televash and Lady Eleanor. You will become aware that the party is being tailed. We've been walking through the forest now for several miles. It's probably about 15 miles from the Shrine of Eldath to the edge of the forest. And after about the second mile, still in the first hour of travel, you keep spotting plants moving behind you, and you hear twigs crack. But there's nobody there. You both get the sense that you're being followed, but there's no one there.
Hmm.
Try to subtly make the party aware that we may be being followed.
Can I send my Steel Defender that way?
Yeah, absolutely. Give it an investigation roll since there's nothing to see. Yeah, the Steel Defender does the perimeter, and you can be confident there's no one out there. Maybe a handful of monkeys and a badger and some parrots, but that's about it. There's no one there. Ignore it.
Well,
Ignore the fact that there's nothing there.
I guess so.
Yeah, there's obviously something back behind us. I guess next time I see one of those plants move, I don't know if this is friendly or not.
I burn the forest down to find out what it is.
Well, I was thinking of a fairy fire.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I guess it's just a matter of whether you want to use those resources or not.
Right, exactly. I guess, I don't know. Anybody have any thoughts? I'm whispering to people. We want to try to flush out whatever it is.
Just keep an eye on it. Keep an eye out for it. And continue on our path.
Yeah, this will stay close together.
I
It's
suppose
as good as idea as any.
give
Yep.
them all the.
Yep.
I suppose he'll just keep making sure that they don't, like, if any, now that he's high alert, he'll just keep watching out, making sure there's not too many things following us.
Cool. Pyro, a D100, please. All right. Okay. So you can't shake this feeling that you're being followed. And an hour later, you're still as convinced that there was someone out there as you were before, but you never actually get a glimpse of them. Just the feeling that they're only a few steps behind is impossible to shake. But you do your best to ignore it while still maintaining an awareness of something out there. And in your heightened sense of agitation, you find yourself moving into a garden of stone. It's the forest doesn't change. There's still ferns and trees and vines and grasses and roots and so on. But you find a stone foot, a broken stone hand, a few chunks from what once might have been a face, the broken stone blade, a broken stone bow, and every 15, 20, 30 paces you come across another chunk of rock that looks like it was once a statue that had been shattered.
These stones look eerily lifelike.
Yeah, they. Yeah. Quite
The
strange.
broken wing of an eagle. Yeah, the broken wing of an eagle, the leg of a frog. Animals and people alike.
Bizarre. Why would there be pieces of statues strewn about the forest?
Can I? You said there was like animal pieces everywhere. That are
Yeah, like
stone?
frogs and badgers and monkeys, little chunks of them. A foot here, a hand there, a tail.
Can I do a nature check to see if I can try if any tracks are around?
Yeah, sure.
Would it be nature or survival?
Either of those are fine. Yeah, they'll give slightly different information. Yeah, brilliant. So this is a lair. This is a creature's lair. It's an unconventional lair because it's out in the open. You probably you know what a turkey's nest looks like? Anyone?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So turkey's nests are great big mounds of twigs and shit like that, and mud. A little makeshift hill. They're surprisingly big considering turkeys aren't all that big a bird. Anyway, this is a lair in an unconventional sense. Whatever these chunks of stone once were, they're scattered all around the place, like bones might be scattered around a bear's lair. But in the center of it, there is a mound, which is probably bigger underneath the ground than it is on top of the ground. And even on top of the ground, it's about 5 feet high. Mud and twigs and leaves and other debris. So there is a nest. It's probably a reptile's nest, but it could be a bird's nest, like a turkey, as we mentioned. But it could be like a crocodile's nest, even though we're a long way from the water. It's possible. And evidently, whatever creature comes through here has feet around about the size of a human man's hand, 3-toed feet, and a long, broad tail. Again, a bit like a crocodile that swishes behind it as it walks. You estimate the creature's probably about 200, 250 pounds, about 200 pounds.
Right. Fill in everybody.
Nest, chunks of stone, a lair, but no sign of any creature unless it's in the nest.
Do you have any idea what kind of creature this is?
It's what did you call it?
I don't know.
I mean,
so
as
I'm
a player, I know what it is, but like,
yeah, I know what it is as well, but I'm acting clueless in character.
Yeah. Arctic, did you tell me what the type of creature it was? You were describing it. I'll describe it.
Probably about 200 pounds, feet about the size of a human hand.
I'll describe that to everybody.
Don't think I would have heard of a creature like that. Well, maybe I might have, but it's unlikely.
That wouldn't tell me what it is, would it? With a 10?
10? No, probably 10's probably not enough. But it's not a turkey.
I guess I'll give it a try. No, I definitely don't know what it is.
I don't think these are in the other dark, so probably wouldn't know. There we go.
It makes sense the druid would know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a basilisk. Probably a female basilisk that has a nest, right? Basilisks turn things to stone and then eat the calcified stone or inflict wounds on the stone that cause it to bleed out. In any case, they can eat both calcified stone or flesh, whatever takes their preference.
This is a basilisk nest. They like to turn things to stone. It's a dangerous creature.
What do they turn into stone?
What do they turn to stone?
No, how? Is it like a
Uh,
spell?
Oh, they by sight.
And with that, I'll pull out a mirror.
All right.
Oh, we appear to have blundered by walking into this place. Let's leave immediately.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's it. Probably. Yeah, let's get out of here.
I agree. And also have the mirror out just in case.
Sure. So you don't linger, not even long enough to identify what the stone pieces might be or what might be in the nest or whether the creature's here at all. You don't linger, but you've barely left the scene. You wouldn't have travelled more than 200 feet when there comes the sound of someone running away from a distance of about 100 feet away. So you move 200 feet away from the nest, and in the direction that we choose, roughly north-northeast, you hear the unmistakable sound of someone dashing, and they run deeper into the woods.
I guess it's away from us.
I guess it's away from us, yeah.
I guess can I try to determine if it's away from us?
Yeah, I guess insight check is probably appropriate. All right, flightless. So this is what you determined: a figure probably bipedal and therefore probably humanoid, probably pretty light-footed, 150 pounds or less. A light-footed humanoid person has been operating 200, 300 feet away from the basilisk nest. They've been doing some kind of activity, and you've stumbled into that activity, and they have fled. And they move really fast, like more than 60 foot around, 60, more than a speed of 30, pretty fast.
So he'll just point in that direction. So our quarry flees in that direction. It is fast.
Sounded fast.
Wonder what it was doing out here.
Who knows? It could be a fae for all we know.
Of course, he'll just look at the nobles like, shall I give chase?
You say so.
So you run after it, flightless?
Yeah, because he can move more than 30 in a like action dash, bonus action, like perception.
Yeah, absolutely. So go ahead and make a fresh perception check. And while you're at it, make, I guess, an acrobatics check to represent running through the forest without tripping over. If you have a different skill, then that's fine, but there we go. Yeah, so excellent. So you nimbly run ahead, but this being already has the drop on you. They're already in front of you to begin with. They're moving pretty damn fast. And so you almost stumble into what that creature was probably doing. You almost stumble into a dead basilisk. She looks like she probably weighs 250 pounds, big, heavily armored thing that's about 7 feet long, 6 legs, bluish green skin, and she's dead. She's not only been shot, several small darts or bolts have been struck into her flanks, but her eyes have been ripped out.
I guess he'll pull one of the darts out and examine it. Is it of
All
any
right,
particular make?
the wound is so fresh that it still bleeds. It's not even cauterized. Blood only takes a few minutes to not cauterize, but coagulate. Blood only takes a few minutes to coagulate. This blood is still flowing like as running as water. You would recognize the bolt, almost certainly, or at least it looks very familiar to the bolts that are traditionally used by the drow.
Well, it's time to put that back in stealth.
So, Flightless skulks back to the party.
And he'll just sort of say drow.
Huh. Up here? Seems strange.
I suppose he'll mimic Dalavar talk about the basilisk and just go, it is deceased.
Huh. In the body?
He'll like just quietly point off in the direction where it was.
Hunting basilisks is pretty dangerous, from what I've heard.
Here, their eyes are quite valuable, though.
Yeah, we happen to have a set. I think
yeah,
we've
that's
yet
right.
to. Yeah, we do have some basilisk guys. We've yet to sell them or do anything with them.
Do you want to drain our resources on our way to where we're going?
Well, we know there's drow in the forest, so gotta be extra careful now.
Indeed, a bolt could come flying out from behind any tree. We'll just have to proceed with caution.
So we move on, and just maintain our vigilance.
I believe so.
Alrighty, righty. So Loin, D100, please. Cool. All right. Roll another D100. Thank you.
Well, the odds of that.
Yeah, 1 in 100, or 1 in 10,000 if you prefer. Okay. All right. Very interesting. So let's see what the time is. We got to the shrine of Eldath at around about dawn. After having a long rest at the sawmill. So dawn comes and it's probably mid-morning, and we're experiencing that natural fatigue. The drow is not, and maybe Flightless isn't, and I'm sure that Artisan is not. Some of us may be experiencing the sort of fatigue that even though you had a good long rest in the afternoon, nature just wants to tell you that, you're not supposed to be awake from dawn until from midnight until 10 a.m. Anyway, you're getting pretty lethargic. You're getting pretty tired. Let's assume that we do stop for like a little lunch break. What does lunch break look like for us? We find a stream. Do we share? Does anyone? When you take a break from being adventurers, what do you do for 10 minutes or half an hour or something?
I would probably snack on some rations, take a swig of water from my water skin, sharpen the blade of my halberd a bit.
Yeah, great. That's great. Anyone else?
I'd practice on my lyre a little bit.
Yeah, cool. Just fill the air with some soft tunes. Not so loud as to draw attention, but not so quiet that you wouldn't be heard.
Be practicing singing, kind of more prayer-like.
Brilliant.
I'll have my head's buried in my star maps.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
So, well, Flightless, like we saw a drow earlier, so he's still paranoid. So he'll still be on guard.
Still on full watch. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, like he might pay for it later, like for his like not taking a break now. But, like, I mean that he can't like help it.
Yeah, it's the instinct is overriding. Yep. Oops. All right. Okay, and so shortly after we've packed up our meal and stopped our brief break, we probably haven't travelled more than 300 feet before we come across a stone disc. The disc is quite large; it's about 10 feet in diameter. And it consists of multiple rings, each the color of the rainbow, starting out at violet and going in towards a red dot in the middle. These 6 rings with a central red dot of red. It looks like a stone circle, or rather a stone slab, maybe a foot thick and 10 feet wide. And it's covered with this mosaic of tiles of different colors. It just stands out, in a forest all by itself. There's no other buildings, there's no roads, no structures, no people. Just this strange, odd, almost certainly ancient stone ring that has just been buried under the debris of figs and of twigs and of animal droppings. Yeah, don't know what it is.
How curious.
Perhaps a relic of the elves?
Could be.
Does it look elven?
Yeah. Investigation check or insight, whatever you think is a good skill.
Insight?
Doesn't
Yeah.
look necessarily elven.
Is there
Yeah.
any writing on it?
There is writing, but in what language? Let's see.
Language will not.
Primordial. Yeah, the primordial tongue. Anyone speak any of the primordial tongues?
Oh, I mean, again, I speak Orin.
Nope.
Orin, you speak Orin? Yeah, of course you do. Okay, the writing is in all 4 of the primordial languages. The same message essentially repeats itself, so you're able to read parts of it multiple times, since they're basically a dialect and therefore share a lot of the same words and the same sentence structure. It seems to indicate that this is a convergence point where all the elements come together to create a passageway. Imagine that you brought fire and water, air and earth all together, and by bringing them together, it creates, according to the stone, a corridor, whatever that means. A hallway. The translation is imperfect.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's imperfect because he's going from the stone to Drow sign language to artisan, who then says it in common.
Yeah, and like it just becomes a series of elven whispers, like the general gist of the thing is that it's a corridor, there are 4 elements, and I don't know, you can piece together whatever you want from that.
Are there any spots on these rings, like something you would place an item or something like that?
Nothing that's obvious and indicative, no. Like no bowls, no plates, no. Just a circle divided into four quarters, each with a different language.
We can stand on this, right?
You give it. You try to stand on it.
Well, how big is it? I guess
It's 10 feet broad. Yeah, 1 foot high, 10 foot broad, like a dais.
Yeah, I'll walk onto it.
It's solid. Your feet click upon the mosaic tiles. It's pretty dirty up here. Bird droppings and animal droppings and twigs and leaves and so on mean that it's not clear. It's not just out in the open like a performance stage. It's covered in debris. But, with a wipe of your hand or a wipe of your foot, you can clear some of the humus away and see the mosaic tiles underneath. That would have been how we read it in the first place.
You go over towards the corner where the fire was, and do it produce flame, and kind of move it around and see if anything.
Yeah, sure. The flame lingers after you cast the spell. It burns, even though there's not necessarily any fuel there for it to burn from. It just keeps burning.
Perhaps you have to cast some magic of each of the elements at the same time.
That's what I was thinking too. So what do we got? Which fire, water, earth, air? Is that what's going on?
Hmm.
Well, I won't be able to assist there. Not that I'm sure I should. If we do open this corridor or whatever it's talking about, I'm not even sure what that might do.
Just to test if it's a magic thing. On the earth side, I'm just going to take some dirt from the ground and put it on the dirt corner.
When you do, it hits the ground and then raises above, no more than half an inch. Just kind of levitates as if there was some invisible film holding it just from touching the ground.
Kind of seeing those.
All right. Do we really want to open this hallway?
I'm not sure it's a good idea. By hallway, I imagine it means some sort of portal, and who knows where it might lead.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Why not check it out?
I am naturally curious.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know much about the other planes of existence, but if we tear open a portal and it happens to lead to a world where everything is fire, I don't think that would be very pleasant for us.
No, we just come back. I'll head over to the wind corner and take out my horn and give it a good blow.
All right. When you blow your horn, you see it stir up the leaves and the debris and the dust, and it keeps stirring after you've finished blowing. Now, it's worth noting by now that the flames that we produce are dying. They're still lingering, flickering, but the produced flame that you created burned intensely for a few seconds and then dimmed and dimmed and dimmed. And as we're, going, I don't know if we should do this, we're hesitating, the produced flame goes out.
Okay.
All right. So we kind of have to do it all at once. So we water, earth, and then we just got to decide if we're doing this or not.
And shortly after, the earth drops to the ground and settles on the dais. The wind is still blowing for now. The wind is still going, but even as we watch it, you'll see that the intensity of it begins to link.
Well, if it's important to you as a druid, I won't stop you, but
Oh,
I'm
I'm
not sure if
curious,
it's worth it.
but I'm not going to push us into something that we're not prepared for.
Well, how will we know if we're prepared or not?
You put it to a vote.
Very well. Whichever way we go, I will support you.
I'm interested in doing it.
Anybody else?
I'm fine with going along with it.
I abstain.
I feel like this trust too. Judgment is probably good.
I think it's best not to tempt fate. So I think I'm the only vote for against.
Oh, if you're against it, I'll vote against.
So it's 3, 4, and 2 against.
All right.
And yeah, so
We can always come back, mark it on the map.
All right.
yeah, we can. We may be passing on something valuable here, but if you feel strongly, then we don't have to do it.
We might
We
want to
can
find
return
the
at another
jewels,
time.
the jewels first, and then check this out.
Why?
Because ins are easier than outs. We're gonna make sure to take care of the gems before we possibly get stuck wherever wherever this might take us.
If you want to
Alright.
state your curiosity, I won't stop you.
So we linger and look at the ring for a little longer, growing increasingly confident that we're not going to interact with it, but still not entirely sure.
There's no indication of if it's a dangerous thing, right? There's no indication of what it might be.
No, I'm just.
Not really. You might make an Arcana or an Insight check, but like there's no skulls, there's no rainbows, unless you count the circles. I guess there is a rainbow, right? Like it's the ring of rainbows. What am I talking about? Really poor choice of words. There is no skulls. There is a rainbow. Yeah, like Insight 15. So I joked about there being a rainbow, but that's not a bad indicator. First of all, that our conclusion that air, earth, water, fire is a pretty basic one, but a good one all the same. You know, our tests seem to indicate that air, earth, water, fire might have some impact, might do something. We seem to have some idea that maybe it has an elemental connection. That's probably logical. There's no indication that this is explicitly dangerous, but but what if it goes to a raging fire or the bottom of the sea? These places aren't, you know. I don't know. There's not a lot to go on here. It seems to have some sort of elemental connection. We could possibly conclude that a portal or something is going to open. That seems to be something where we're leaning towards. All of that's pretty feasible. Let's for one moment think of the concept that this might open up to all 4 different elemental planes. What a powerful portal that would be. Somewhere that could access the 4 different elemental worlds from the same place. I don't know. At this point, you're just speculating, as am I. There's no obvious indication that it is dangerous, but a volcano doesn't look dangerous until it erupts.
Right. I think we may, until we find more information about this, mark this on our map and continue on. It's just not enough information at this point.
All good?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
We haven't travelled more than 500 paces, then a resounding sound or multiple group of sounds comes from where we just left, from the direction of the disc. It sounds like a crashing wave, a galing, howling wind, the dropping of a ton of dirt, and the crackling of a fire all at once. But it's all over within about 3 or 4 seconds. There's just this cacophony of naturally chaotic disaster, I suppose, sounds: fire and water, earth and air. And then the forest is quite silent. Those sounds shutting up even the monkeys and the parrots momentarily.
That was behind us, back from where the ring was.
That's right, and we haven't moved more than 500 paces.
Can we still see it or no?
No, the forest is too thick for that. But
Somebody's very curious is following us.
Do we want to go back and check?
Well, yeah.
I've got to admit, even my curiosity is peaked at this point.
Yeah, let's head back.
You get back there, and the place looks more or less the way it did when you were here before. You can smell the salty air, and the ozone. You can smell the forest fires and the fresh dirt. But at a glance, from 50 feet away, you have a quick glance, and there's no trolls, there's no demigods, there's no flaming swords of pure angelic fire. It, at a glance, looks the same.
Do you think we did that, or did someone following behind us do what we were going to do?
Or did someone come here from somewhere else?
But we heard 3 sounds, didn't we? Like 3 different elements. Because Because we didn't do anything with the water line.
No, we heard water too.
Okay, we heard all four.
Yeah.
Well, if someone was just here, then perhaps there's evidence of their passing.
Make an investigation roll.
Can I do this?
Absolutely.
I'll attempt it, even though I'm not very good at it.
14.
Yeah, good.
Somehow I get an 18.
So you find the following: a half-empty water skin, a candle that has only barely been used and then extinguished again. The handful of dirt would blend in with the rest of the dirt and debris that's already on the disc. The same goes for the wind panel. So there's a candle that's barely been used, a half-empty water skin, and they weren't here 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, somebody did the ritual here.
You want to follow them?
Seems so. I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Following someone to a different plane of existence.
We don't know. It's a different plane.
Well, that's what I'm assuming.
Well, it could have been someone following us who came upon it and decided to do all the things, or it could have been just someone who was using whatever. If it's a portal, maybe someone was coming in or out of it. Or as somebody had to be going in or releasing something. There's a bunch of different things this could be.
Well, perhaps we'll complete the ritual, and if it does turn out to be a portal, we can just simply not go through it. At least
Yeah.
we'll know.
Mm-hmm.
That's an idea. I'm down for that.
Alright, I'll pick up the half-empty water skin for the water part of the ritual.
Yeah,
I'll get the produce flame ready.
done.
Do the air again.
Excellent.
And I guess I'll grab some dirt.
And 1, 2, 3, we all sprinkle it on at the same time, or blow
Yep.
it out? All right.
Yep.
The rainbow colours do glow, and the whole place lights up like a disco floor, I suppose, cheesily enough. Starting with the purple from the outside, and then going in indigo, blue, and so on until it reaches the red dot. And for a few seconds, no more than 10 seconds, and maybe even less, the whole thing glows, and then stops. And when it stops glowing, the dirt and the debris is still there on the disc. It hasn't gone. So I guess by that rationale, there's been no change.
Huh. Maybe there's something more to the ritual, like a phrase that needs to be uttered or something like that.
What did the writing say again?
It says like elemental corridor, I guess. The four elements combined open the hallway through which all life flows.
Huh.
I guess I'll gesture that maybe someone has to be stood in the middle of this circle.
I was thinking that too, but that's kind of scary.
Yeah, I
Alright,
definitely
step
won't
on
be.
when the lights are on.
Are you sure, Ellie? They could. Who knows where it might take you?
Nothing I can handle, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, if you insist, I suppose I can't stop you, but I won't be taking part in the ritual.
I can have my Steel Defender stand in the spot.
Can you see through its senses?
No, but
But if it disappears,
I can.
That's a good point. If it disappears, we'll know it takes you somewhere.
Yeah,
Or
that's probably-
disintegrates.
Either way, we don't want to be in the middle of it. We don't want to have one of us in the middle of it that happens.
What about something significantly more mundane? And I'll take like 3 silver coins and put them in the middle of it. And see what happens to these coins.
All right, we'll do the ritual with the 3 silver coins.
All right. Everyone's participating in the ritual like before?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Makes no difference. The coins don't go anywhere.
Maybe it is a magic
Just
word then.
It's a fairy dance floor.
Yeah.
Very nice one.
Hell yeah.
Staying
maybe.
alive.
Yeah, perhaps there is some sort of phrase that needs to be said then.
Yep. And we obviously do not know what that phrase is.
Uh-huh.
So we can keep notes on this, and if on our travels we find some information, we come back.
It's definitely good to know that this is here.
All right, shall we continue on our way?
Suppose we do. We have no conceivable way to open the doorway.
All right. So, as you're preparing to leave, you'll notice 2 things that hanging around here long enough, someone may have spotted. Whether they're important or significant is completely unknown. There is a lot of twigs, a lot of debris, a lot of dirt, and so on the disco floor. But there's no centipedes. There's no flies. There's no crickets. There's no worms. Nothing lives there. No, there's no animals there. And the other thing that you'll spot are small footprints. They're very light. They're very delicate and lithe. And they're easily lost in amongst our own, but they're not our own. Whoever was following us had 2 feet, dainty little feet. Yeah, smaller than a human, but much bigger than a halfling. Wearing booties, not heavy boots and not barefoot, but kind of soft booties that are likely made of a single piece of strong material rather than having soles the way conventional modern shoes do.
Any chance they're made of silk?
They look like they could very well be made of silk, and the person who was walking in them probably weighs no more than about 100 pounds and was pretty lightly equipped on top of that.
But you don't think it only transports organic material, do you?
It's a possibility, but I
We can try my Steel Defender. I just have to spend a long rest to get it back.
That's
if it
not
goes away.
organic, though.
Yeah, but it's the closest thing we have before putting one of us in it.
Can I?
because that's the thing. If it does only transport organic material and one of us steps on it and gets teleported God knows where, how will they get back?
Can I find like a caterpillar or something outside of the circle?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, plenty of them. Yeah,
Can I just
hundreds.
put that in the middle of the circle, like clear a zone, and just put that in the middle?
It tries to crawl its way through the debris, but it's going to take a couple of minutes before it reaches the edge.
Poor caterpillar.
All right, do the ceremony before it gets off.
All right, and the caterpillar is gone.
Do we
Oh
hear
well.
the crack of
Rip.
lightning again?
What was that? Lightning?
Oh, do we hear
Yeah.
the sounds again?
Yeah, you do. That's right. I'm glad you pointed that out. You do hear the sounds. You see the light come in, and at the conclusion, whoosh, fire, water, earth, and wind all let off a sound for a single round. And at the end of the round, the sound fades, the light fades, the caterpillar
I
is
can just
gone.
imagine like Imagine like all the if there are guards on the other side like waiting for us to come through. It's like we just send through like a single caterpillar.
Kill it!
Oh, some fucking idiots found it again. Are too scared to come here to the land of paradise.
That would be my conclusion as well, and be like, oh, looks like they're doing the test again, Gary. Got a bunch of smart ones, have we?
Well, it seems like you're alright. It does only transport living matter.
Kyle is just like, come on, guys.
Let's just zap ourselves to God knows where.
Come on, you give me the portal. I want to go through it.
I'm going through the portal. That's why we have portals, guys.
I can't stop you. I just can't promise that I'll follow you.
Yeah. I got shit to make, so
Yeah, if I had a way to communicate cross portal, I might, but I don't.
we can we can wait long rest and I can swap my thing out, I think. Is that it? No. Never mind. No, I can't. Blame my last. I was gonna say I can make my thing my replicate magic item sending stones. But
those don't work across planes.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah.
Does this go cross planes?
We don't know.
I mean, yeah, I don't really feel like going to one of the elemental planes. Either I drown, I burn, I am stuck in the middle of a bunch of dirt. Like, it's not that appealing.
I don't think it brings you to one of the elemental planes, though.
It might not, but I'm not willing to bet my life on it.
Best result is that it sends each person to a different elemental plane.
Hell yeah!
It sends a quarter view to each elemental plane.
You're right. That result is worse. It's unconditionally worse. The spell then fails because you're no longer a creature. You're now an object, and therefore spell fails.
All right. So if we ever need to get to the elemental planes, we come back here.
Yep.
Essentially the case.
If we assume that this is an elemental plane of portal, which the drow is not.
Our drow or a different drow?
Am I correct, Kyle? You don't seem.
Yeah,
to
I don't
does
think
go to
it
the
is.
elemental plane? No.
I think it goes to another inner plane, like sigil or.
Well, wherever it goes, it's not the material plane, and we'd have any way to communicate or get back.
Well, technically, we could probably all go, right? We could all stand in there and do the ceremony from inside the freaking disc.
Yeah, we could, but again, how do we get back?
That'd be the most awesome TPK, though.
We all just teleport ourselves into the plane of fire and died.
Curiosity killed the party.
But what a story it would be.
What is? I can't tell if that's damage or intimidate check. I think
like
that might be an IRL intimidate check.
Yeah, that was an intimidate check right there.
No, it was a troll check. Nothing more than a troll check.
That's what they all say.
Well, I guess we're moving on unless somebody is insistent on yeeting themselves into that.
Correct word. Correct use of the term yeet. Oh, shit.
Oh, God.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's
go.
probably either all of us or none of us, so let's just go.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right. No worries.
Sorry, Kyle.
No, it's fine.
Back on the map. Okay. Mara, do 100, please.
All right, here we go. Another 17 goblins. Let's go.
Ooh, 67.
67 goblin.
87 goblins.
We almost got the funny number.
Honestly, it would be fitting if Mara got 69.
Okay. All right. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. Okay. So we reached the edge of the forest without any further incidents. Though we feel conclusively that we're not being followed anymore, so that's pretty nice. By the time we reach the edge of the forest, we're probably pretty exhausted, though. Been traveling since midnight. It's now past midday. And the mid-afternoon lethargy is really catching up on us when at last we hear the sounds of axes, scores of axes. There must be 20 axes at least that are hacking away at the lumber that we're nearing the edge of. Must be a camp.
Seems like we might have found our place.
Do we want to take the stealthier approach to this one? Like, have our stealth-focused people go in and just see what they can figure out?
Might be a good idea. Although, considering we're getting pretty fatigued and it's the middle of the day, it might be worth taking a rest, and then we can stealth in during the night when we're less likely to be spotted.
It's fine by me.
Uh-huh.
Yep, sounds good.
Oh, sounds like a plan then. So we wait until the night has fallen. We will have taken a short rest by the time the night has fallen, unless you want to wait all the way until midnight, in which case a long rest will have been completed.
I think we're like pretty juiced up, right? I think a short
Yeah,
rest
we
is
don't
what
need
we
to. We don't need a long rest.
Yeah.
Shall I? You want me to do a pass without trace?
Yeah, I mean that's a good safety net.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'll accompany you because the heavy armor.
Yeah, I'll stay back as well.
Sounds good. Go ahead and make those stealth rolls.
I'll be going with him as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. +10 from the pass without trace, right?
Yep.
22.
Not bad.
I'm gonna spend my inspiration on that nat one.
I mean, it's still 17.
Yeah, but rather than 20. I still rolled
Yeah.
4.
Yeah,
Good
not
grief.
great. But 20s will be fine. Minimum of 20. Okay. I'll put us on the map, and then I'll move us across the map after. I might put. I might start by putting down the token for the party, since I know that not all the party are going to be there. I'll check that it has dark vision. It does. Yeah, it does. And then the rest of you, if you want to put yourselves down, the people that you are actually there, then that's up to you. Okay. Excuse me again. So, here we are, a logging camp. You're not necessarily here. In fact, you're almost certainly not this far close, but I'll put you there for convenience sake. This is the remnants of the forest. There is a bit of forest to the north. There is a bit of forest to the west. But more than half of this is kind of clear. This southern edge and the eastern edge is completely clear, as well as a lot of the northern edge. But the western edge and part of the northern edge is forested. These appear to be slaves. They are predominantly Dane women, women from the Anarok Desert. And the fact that they're chained together in chain gangs of 5 makes their servitude pretty damn obvious. Or the fact that they're not in the desert also makes the fact that they're the servants pretty obvious as well. They are because it's night. They're resting. They're sleeping where they work. They lie on the ground. Ironically, they have axes pretty close to them, so there's enough trust left in them that they, if they don't exactly keep them armed, but axes are only a few steps away. They don't have to be coordinated steps because of the chain gang, but a few steps all the same. There is an ogre. The ogre is dozing, or actually he's sleeping. He's in a deep sleep, snoring really loudly. And he's only a handful of paces away from many of the Dane women, most of which are asleep, although a few of them stir, go to the toilet, and so on. Not that they can go anywhere to the toilet; they have to do it in the chain gang, right where they sit. There are a few patrols of horse riders, lethargic horse riders that carry torches. The torches serve more to illuminate the position of the horse rider than actually give them any illumination. But there's a dog alongside the horse rider, and it sniffs the air. Apparently unaware of our presence, but being vigilant all the same. This here is a building. It's guarded. In the central area, there's several buildings. Again, they're guarded. This is a whole bunch of lumber. It's around about 10 feet high, a huge pyramid of timber. So, yeah, in conclusion, there is a very light patrol of people using torches, an ogre sleeping alongside several sleeping slaves, a bunch of buildings that look like they've been constructed very recently, log huts, semi-permanent, the sort of construction that a military would want to build, like an encampment, temporary but sturdy, cheap but strong, and no actual sign of how strong the forces are, though I guess the fact that they're able to keep 50 or so slaves helps give some indication of the strength that they've got. There we go.
Alrighty. Not really
All
down there.
right. So how do we want to approach this?
Well, we go back and get our other guys and tell everybody what we see.
Yeah.
I suppose like, he'll just take notes of like the patrols. See, like there's a way if we need to, we can sneak through without getting spotted.
Make a side check. Advantage and disadvantage cancel each other. The darkness, the predictability. So just make an insight check.
12.
12 is okay. It's passable. The patrol is light. There are a total of, vaguely speaking, one guard on horseback with horn and bow and sword and dog. One of these per side. 4 sides, 4 guards. Each guard has to cover, 200, 300 feet of land, which isn't that much, really. But it's easily enough to slip in a strike force. Impossible to slip in an army, but easy to slip in a single assassin.
Do you think we could possibly get into one of the buildings? Or like come out or sneak out and come in from another side? Delabash?
Say that again.
Do you think we can move back and come in from like the opposite side and see what the buildings don't let us see? See if there's a way we can sneak in over there.
That might be an idea, just to get a better lay of the land here, of what all the buildings, what kind of numbers we're talking about here.
Yeah. So the forest is possible to walk down this western side. You can go as far as you want along the western side. But there's no forest beyond that, and you'll be relying on darkness alone to be your cover. To the north is cleared land where the loggers have cleared half a dozen hectares of trees, and to the east is the Dagger Hills, the rolling country that was quite familiar to us now.
So can I assume there's like still shrubbery here I can kind of move to?
Definitely on the western side, plenty of shrubbery. But
All the way down, or just till here?
All the way down on the western side. On the north, it goes up to about where the guard is, but on the west, it goes all the way down, and there's nothing on the south and nothing on the east. So yeah, it gives you a bit of an indication, but not a great one. There's this building all by itself, pretty large building. Call it a coach house. I don't know why. It's a pretty large coach house by itself. There are 10 tons of timber piled high in a 10-foot tall pyramid here. Not really sure what this central building is. Maybe like a podium or something. An elevated area that perhaps is used in the processing of timber. A small building and a very large building with another small building to the north. All made of wood, all constructed within the last 6 months.
All right. So, do we want to give everybody an idea of what this is?
Yeah, we can go ahead and give the rest of the party, head back to the rest of the party and tell them like what we got, along with a rough head count of 4, and then regulars.
An ogre, and then a couple patrols.
Yeah. Make perception checks at disadvantage. That's not bad. Very bad. Well, not awful. It's not terrible. Amara, this is the building that we are obviously closest to. I guess that needs no explanation. Within this building, you can hear the rumbling sound of a beast. Imagine a lion snoring, and you get the idea.
Gotcha. I will mention that.
Can I hear? I mean, obviously, with him mentioning it, can I hear it?
Yeah, what's your passive?
15.
Yeah, with a passive 15, you can definitely hear it, and you have a nature check. You having a unique insight into creatures like this. You estimate it's the biggest lion you've ever seen. Not a dire lion, not phenomenally large, but like a big mature tiger. It doesn't sound like no panther. This is a big meaty cat.
Does it look like the building's locked up, keeping it in there, kind of thing?
Make an insight check. That's an interesting question. It looks locked up, but from the inside. Like the windows are closed, but they're latched from the inside. They're not latched from the outside, which you'd want to do to prevent an animal from breaking out the window. You put bars on the outside. They haven't done that. These are more like conventional windows that lock from the inside. There is a guard standing watch on it, but the guard is not watching the building. It's watching for people approaching the building. So the guard is guarding whatever's inside, and the locks are on the inside of the building, indicating that the lion closed it himself. Theoretically. Pretty silly, but, theoretically.
All right, I'll let everybody know that it looks like it's barricaded from the inside, locked from the inside, not from the outside. And it's a really large lion.
Mm.
And there's a large collection of slaves too, you say?
There's be more
Yes.
than 40.
Mm. I absolutely cannot abide this. If it seems like we might have a chance of assaulting this place, then I insist that we try.
Yeah, I'm not very fond of slavery, so.
The trick is, like, there's several guards around. Just from what we were able to see outside, that's not counting how many guards might be asleep in the barracks at this hour.
Yeah, I don't expect you all to rush to your death, but if it seems like we might have a chance, then I would definitely put my life on the line to try.
Maybe we can. These guards are patrolling, or they're just sitting in their spots.
On patrolling, the ones who are not on horseback are stationary.
So I guess I'll sign to Artisan that there are gaps in their patrol. We might be able to get some of them out.
Do the slaves look like they've been slaves for a while, or do they look fairly fresh?
Question. I guess it's a medicine check or an insight? Even perception, I suppose. Yeah, great. Difficult to tell because they are Badine women, and Badine women dress from head to toe in burqas. So who knows what their physical condition is normally like. These ones are also wearing burqas. They're torn and turning into rags. So I guess that might be an indicator in and of itself, but you can't see whether they're starving or old or young or anything like that.
So no idea if they would be helpful in a fight.
Not with a 4, no.
I'll also, I guess, sign again that 4 or 5 could go missing and they might not even notice.
You know, I'm not much of the battle planner. We have somebody who's better at that. As a druid, anyway.
Well, if our primary objective is to rescue the slaves and not necessarily to slaughter the entire camp, then perhaps we can advance from this angle, using the cover of the trees that still exist to get as close as possible. Then charge the ogre taskmaster and give the slaves a chance to escape.
Yeah, it just depends
If any of us is good.
Oh, sorry.
So if any of us is good with locks, we might be able to free them from their binds.
Because it's slave chains, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Like there's a metal rod that has manacles attached to it, and so it's essentially one key for 5 people. You like a curtain rod, you know. Once you remove the rod, the rings are free. Yeah.
So for every lock picked, there's 5 people freed.
Yeah, that's right. You'd pick one lock and then you'd pull the shower rod out of the curtain rings, and the manacles would be. They'd still have manacles attached to their ankles, but the manacle would no longer be attached to anything else.
So if there's 5 putter, there's going to be about 5 like lines there. Then I guess.
There's about 40 of them, so there's about eight groups.
I was just counting the ones that we could see.
Yeah, I didn't put down every single
Okay.
token because
That makes sense.
yeah.
No, I expect you to put down every single token.
Yeah, it clogs up the map a little.
Honestly, more drow sign language. That maybe we just have someone disguised like as one of the Badine women because their total like the way they dress could like disguise one of us, and they could go in and just undo all the locks, and then we distract them with an attack, and then the slaves can just run off into the forest. And we can meet up with them later.
That is a good.
I can do that. I can actually make myself look like a Badine woman.
You can.
I can.
So I guess Artisan is putting my plan through.
What was that?
I guess you're translating.
Yeah.
I think I like that idea. Yeah, slip in undetected as one of the slaves, secretly free them from their binds, and then once they're all free, we attack, and that gives them the chance to escape.
And then we can disengage whenever after as many combat rounds, so we can give them advantage to get away.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. I will put my vote in for the pretend to be a slave, free the slaves, then attack to distract them so they can get away plan.
Yep, sounds good to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he'll say he's not too great. He's not good with luck.
Mara can pick locks.
Seems like a job tailor-made for you.
Mm-hmm.
I wish you the best of luck.
So when we're ready to go, she will go ahead and cast that for free because of her racial.
Nice.
And look just like a Badine woman.
Perfect. It's an extremely easy disguise to pull off. Some damaged black cloak, and as long as you get the height right, then the rest is simple. So you look indistinguishable from a Badine.
All right, good luck.
What next?
I suppose we should have some sort of signal so that we know when you've done picking all the locks.
I don't think.
No, it's a Star Wars quest. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's actually a little short to be short. Got it. Okay. I'm a little slow. Yep. Once, if I know where they are, I can actually message them when I'm done.
All right. So
perfect.
someone. Oh, you mean the party? Message the party? Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. Well, if they're going to get 120 feet away, they're going to have to make stealth rolls as well. Work out just how close the party is, because from about 300 feet in the forest, you can be reasonably hopeful that no one's going to see you. But once you reach about that 300 feet, that 100-meter mark, the dogs might smell you or hear you.
Because we still have Dallavash's pass without trace, so I think we can be fairly confident here.
Good point.
All right, let's try to get within 120 before we put the plan into motion.
That's it, and I'll give the dog a check.
Three.
23 is good. Oh, is it only 3? So it's only 13, is it?
Yeah.
Disadvantage. 13 sucks.
Yeah. It's the session's almost over. I might as well use my inspiration.
There you go.
Won't hurt you.
Yeah, I forgot it's not disadvantage.
Slightly better. 16.
Yeah, it's slightly better. But 16 is 16. Yeah, not 26, of course.
Are we all making stealth rolls?
Anyone? I think the party is all advancing, right, to the 100-foot mark.
Yeah, we're all
Yeah.
pretty much going to be in
Yeah.
a position where we can act quickly if stuff goes badly.
Yeah.
The dogs start barking.
Fuck.
As soon as the dogs
Oh, it's a
start barking.
nat.
That's right. The dogs. It's a fucking dog on steroids. So you guys have reached the 120-foot mark, and you're like saying, "Okay, Mara, now you're in disguise. You're ready to go, but you haven't made it there yet, right? You're still with the party, and the dogs."
No,
start
I
barking.
was.
Oh yeah.
I would have advanced separately from the party.
Yeah. All right. Well, you're about 50 feet away from the slaves, and the rest of the party reaches the 120-foot mark. When the dogs start barking, we either abandon the plan or roll for initiative.
Mm,
Let's go for it.
All right,
Yeah,
roll for
okay.
initiative. It's only 50 feet for you to cover Mara, so you can, if you're fast enough, you can get there.
Natural 20, of course.
Freaking massive with the natural 20. Like, come on.
I mean, it was a good plan. You just can't plan for natural 20.
Yeah, that's right.
Also, what's with everyone rolling 4s on initiative? It's like 3 or 4 4s.
That's a good question, actually. Can you make a token or no? Wait, can I just set
For
it?
the defender? Yeah, the defender I think has a token already. I think.
Yeah, it
There's
does.
a little
Well, it
spider
should.
bot looking thing.
No, it's the dog, isn't it? Like the robot
It's
dog?
just a. Is it?
Yeah, I think the token by default has a. Maybe it. Oh, I know. I think I know what I have to do. Let's try this. I'll go to the token page. It'll take a couple of minutes, but hopefully once it's done, it should be good.
I suppose if you just drag it on, you get like the spider bot.
Yeah. I can just do that for now.
Yeah, all right. We'll just do that for now. Yeah, probably. And we'll work out exactly what we're going to do next week. So you just chuck your dude down. He acts on your initiative, doesn't he?
After my turn. Yeah.
After the turn. Right. Okay. All right, Mara. 50 feet from the slaves.
All right, I will go ahead and move to. Are they awake or are they asleep? Can I tell?
Most of them are asleep. A handful of them are trying to sleep, and a few are staring up at the stars or weeping or trying to get some privacy. Yeah.
I will go ahead and dash over and then act like I'm lay down like I'm asleep with them.
All right. Make a deception roll or performance or something.
Sorry, that's with disadvantage, but that'd be a 12 because I
12's
can't
okay.
roll well for shit.
All right. 12 is okay.
Especially under cover of darkness.
Yeah. No, it'd be a natural reaction for any of them to but you want to slip in without even being seen by the Dane women, don't you?
Yeah, I kind of want to. Actually, yeah, I wouldn't be that close then if I was sneaking because I forgot half speed.
Yeah.
That would put me about like 20 feet away, like about there.
Yeah, sure. So you're still sneaking up, and the women are starting to wake up, like as is the ogre for that matter. I guess you better give him an initiative roll. As the dog bark will wake him up. Yeah, so Mara starts sneaking over towards them. They get startled and look around, but she's too invisible to be seen by the bleary-eyed at the moment. Artisan.
How far am I away from the border of the map?
120 feet off the edge.
Okay. So I'll dash forward, I guess.
Yeah.
That'll put me halfway, and I'll have my defender going the 20 feet he has ahead of me.
All right. Dalavash. The crashing as because you're not sneaking, are you? You're moving at full speed, Artisan.
Yes.
Yeah, so the crashing of through the underbrush startles the Bedine women, and some of them scream.
So we're 120 feet off the edge.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right, I'll follow Artisan in.
Perfect. The crashing gets louder. The screaming escalates. Lady Eleanor, terrorizer of women.
Yeah, so it seems. I'll go ahead and dash 60 feet, so I'm 60 feet off the map.
All right.
Clank, clank, clank.
Bane is coming. They yell in their own tongue, which we probably don't understand. The scout spurs its horse forward, spurs her horse forward, and rushes to get a report. Chastises the ogre for sleeping, even though he's supposed to be sleeping, and looks around in the dim light, but with dim vision, she'll have disadvantage on the check. Mastiff. She can hear you coming though, so I guess she doesn't really need to make a perception check in that regard. She knows that you're there. There's the scout. Here she is.
Guess it's just whether she can pick out a target in the darkness to shoot.
Exactly right. Yeah. And,
Apparently.
whether she can see Mara moving through the underbrush, but no, because it's dim light, she has disadvantage, so she gets a 9. She's able to. Well, the 22 is for her hearing, and the 9 is for her vision. So she's got a pretty good idea of how many of you there are, what direction you're coming from, but she can't see you. And you hear her yell all of that information back to the camp. Estimated 5 heavily armored warriors approaching through the forest towards the loggers. Politeness.
I guess try to get the officer. He'll move 30 foot closer and take a shot at the officer.
Alright, you'll be at disadvantage because you're firing through trees and leaves and stuff, like it's anything but a clear shot.
But
So,
she can't see me. Will that cancel it?
That does cancel it, but she'll still get +5 armor class because she's protected as well. It's an incredibly difficult shot, but at least she can't see you, which makes it a little more feasible.
70.
And that's going to be enough, but you hit her, and the arrow gets lodged in her leather jerkin within the breastplate of leather that she wears. The arrow hits her and digs in. She pulls it out, snaps it off, and looks into the forest, but you missed by 1.
Oof.
Oh,
Alwyn.
Oh, I'm still pretty far off the map, right? Like
I think
120
120 feet. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll move forward 60.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, bonus action hide at the end of the turn.
yeah. The guards wake up. The mastiffs run into the woods to try to find their quarry. The ogre is in the wrong initiative order, but he wakes up. Mara, you will hear the camp go on high alert. People start blaring horns. Yeah, high alert is engaged. Mara.
Alrighty. I will. I can see the women from here. Are they? They're all petrified.
They're going to be run over by a charging horse. They can't move because they're chained together. The ogre is waking up. There's warriors running in from the only escape route possible. Yeah, this is Bedine women are, I don't want to call them soft, but they're non-combatants. It's culturally offensive for them to do what would be considered traditional masculine roles, and so being in the middle of a battle is horrific.
Hold up. Why is one labeled Dahlia?
That's
I don't know.
pretty. That's Carrick.
All right.
A little joke.
It's just some alternate history. You know, if they didn't escape, would they get captured?
It's a common name among the Dane, okay? It's a common name. Yeah. I still can't say the Dahlia, but yeah.
It's like the most bottom, like.
It's this
demon.
one here.
How do you tell she's Dahlia? I can't say the name.
It's written right above her head.
Is it?
It's just very small.
Zoom in really close.
Really
Right.
tiny print.
Zoomed out too far, I think. Okay, yeah, I'm zoomed out too far, so... Yeah, her hit point bar is covering it for me.
Oh, gotcha. We can't see her hit point bar. That's why.
Yeah.
Is it supposed to be dark out right now?
Yeah, we came here in the middle of the night, right? Yeah.
My dark vision isn't on. I just wanted to make a note of that.
Oh, sure.
Oh, and I don't have dark vision at all.
Right, I mustn't have made the tokens up properly.
Well, I guess I can see everything in front of me.
I suppose it's
just,
dim.
The darkness isn't.
There's torches and stuff, so I guess that must be what's lighting it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see everything. I don't know what you guys are complaining about.
Yeah, she's doing okay.
Mm-mm.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna.
next session. I'll get in. If someone can remind me half an hour before the next week, I'll get it all done.
I'm gonna try and sneak in with the Bedine women. Kind of with them huddling together, and I will go ahead and minor illusion that I'm chained together with them.
All right. Some of them see what you're doing, don't understand what you're doing, but they see it. And terrified though they are, you're still the least terrifying thing out there, right? Yeah, like you might be an assassin or an infiltrator or a changeling or a hag or something, but the devil you know is better than these heavily armored charging warriors that are closing in from all directions. So if they scream, then their screams are just lost in all the other screams, and you you move down and begin your infiltration.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, sorry, wrong button.
I do with the turn order. I close it. Yeah, it did. All right, artisan.
Do I have to be at the top, or could I have come in at the bottom?
You can come in anywhere on the western side.
Okay. So on a sprint, well, a dash, I would be on the map now,
Excellent.
and my steel defender's here on regular movement. He wants. Can I have him walk the remaining distance to a lock? I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you can do the
wherever that
do the work.
is.
Now the women are just petrified, right? Robot spider comes in. This is their fucking nightmare.
My God, you're supposed to draw them off, people.
Yeah, like they couldn't be more terrorized. If they had to choose between the ogre and the robot spider, they'd choose the ogre.
But how would we have predicted Sherlock Hound?
The ogre spends 15 feet of movement getting up, looks around, sees the spider, and charges, trampling the women under feet in the process. That's his charge move, Dalavash.
Let's see. All right, so I am going to activate my starry form with my bonus action, and I'm 60 feet off the map, so I'm going to cast. Moonbeam on the ogre.
All right. Constitution, right? On his turn. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be on his turn.
Alright, I might put a moon down so that we remember.
And then I'll use my movement to get another 30 feet closer. So I'm 30 feet off the map now.
Excellent, excellent. Lady Eleanor.
60-foot dash up. So I should be where I actually am on the map now.
Alright. Will fire upon the. You got +2 armor class from cover, a limited amount of cover. Should be a short bow. I'll change it to a short bow.
So who is she shooting at?
Fire at the spider, the steel defender. Got a longbow listed, but I don't like the idea of shooting longbows from horseback. I think it's in a world of dragons and fireballs, shooting longbows from horseback is one step of anti-realism too far for me. 12. Does that hit the? Yep. Okay. Cool. But she's firing into the trees and it gets caught in the branches and the leaves and so on.
And the Badine.
Flightless.
He'll move 30 feet closer. Bonus action. Well, he'll take a shot at the ogre. Because the ogre's actually killed just a bunch of Badine women now, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, he's trampled them, dead or dying. Yeah.
Yeah. So short bow at the ogre.
So it couldn't be better.
Yeah, so 22 points of damage.
Not bad, and it's pretty serious injuries. The ogre is taken by surprise by the sudden aggression. 22 was it?
Yeah, 20. Yeah, 22.
Yeah, and being a big bully that he is, suffering such serious injuries is a horrifying moment for a man who has always been able to throw or get what he wants through strength alone.
And then hide. And maybe on Flightless's behalf, like, he's getting sudden determination because of his like past as a slave.
Okay.
Some stealth.
It's not going to disappear from the dog's perspective, but you're doing your best. Alioun.
I'll move up 30 and do a guiding bolt at the ogre.
Okay. Smash slams into him and he begins to illuminate with radiant light. He is as terrorized as the Dane are now. As his injuries grow critical, you burn away a lot of his flesh. The moonbeam is probably going to microwave the rest, and the ogre's howling more in fear than pain. All right. Guards begin to pour out of the central barracks. This guard here maintains his vigil at the door, so he doesn't actually intervene. He's the only one that we can see. But they begin to pour out, poorly equipped, unarmored, out into the courtyard. You might not be able to see that, or probably can't, but you can probably hear it all the same. Getting an estimate of their numbers is difficult. But if you said 20, you would be conservative. The Mastiff charges the Steel Defender, and probably has to sidestep a couple of the girls, but zigzagging his way through, is able to get in there, and it launches itself at the spider.
That will hit.
17 doesn't hit?
I said that will hit.
Oh, that will. I thought it would. Yeah, cool. So it grabs your spider and starts ripping off its legs. Make a strength saving throw.
Inspiration?
Yeah, go ahead.
Fuck, I wanted to do a thing. Oh, that works. Never mind.
The legs aren't ripped off, they're merely mangled, and so you're able to maintain your stability for 7 points of damage. And we might as well leave it right there.
Hangers are the best.
I thought that you were going to turn away when the dog barked. I thought you'd be like, "Oh, fuck this."
Things I thought. I mean, to be honest, I thought if we stayed still, because dogs just sometimes bark. If we had just stayed still, it might have been convincing.
Could have been a monkey or a bear.
Yeah, we only had a split second to react, and we
And
were
after
like,
made
screw
the
it.
decision. I mean, like, if we stayed silent for 3 or 4 rounds, I wonder what would have happened.
My bad.
Who knows?
But anyway, say goodbye to the
They
internet.
would have murdered all the slaves.
Bye, internet.
Goodbye, internet.
See you soon, internet.
Aye.